Last we left off, you all bedded down for a night of rest after your adventures in the Emerald Forest. You engaged in various conversations. Roulette tested out new capabilities. Some tranced, some dreamed, and Jax beseeched Tobirama for help getting out of Jiri's control. The following day, Tobirama lent his aid to Jax's request, and after trying to remove any curse afflicting Jiri, Jax seems to have seized an opportunity to take control of piloting Jiri's form and magically adjusted his appearance to suit his preference. After some moments of tension and borderline hostile discussion, you moved forward and journeyed across the savannah to Kirsan, a lively hub of trade and commerce at the northern border of desert environment in Chimeras. You amused yourself for a bit through bartering and games, and eventually made your way to the tent of the magnificent Mirage. After perusing his wares, Telperion began to barter for an enchanted quiver, and Mirage suggested he might be able to knock the price down a bit in exchange for a favor of sorts. He led the four of you and Alfie into a nearby alleyway and pulled out what looked to be a uniquely intricate crystal jarring geometry key of sorts. And as he pushed it into the air before him and rotated it in place, you all immediately disapparated in a flash of arcane translocation. And that is where we will pick up in a moment.
Okay.
But first, Jiri, you are surrounded by expansive darkness in every direction, with some sort of shallow liquid sprawling out beneath your feet endlessly in every direction. The last thing you remember is Tobirama reaching his hand toward you, trying to rid you of the Mad Wolf's curse. And suddenly you were thrust down into this strange dark void, with a familiar-looking half-drow man standing in front of you for a moment. Without your ability to react, that man, Jax, had jumped toward you, knocking you to the ground, and when you looked back up, he was gone. And now you find yourself stranded in this strange environment. What do you do?
I get to my feet and I look around and I say, "Rats, curses, and storm clouds." That was the Mad Wolf. I thought that was going to work. I thought that remove curse would have got rid of Mr. Mad Wolf, but I guess it didn't. Hopefully he's not causing too much mischief for the others. And I just look around, and do I see anything?
As you're looking around, you don't see anything in the black void around you, but there is a little bit of shimmer to the liquid under your feet that is kind of somehow catching light from somewhere, because you're seeing the reflections off the ripples of this liquid as you step in different directions.
I try to summon Shadow Moby to me.
You try to do so. In a burst of frustration, you're exerting yourself and nothing's happening.
Rats. I'm all alone. Just Jiri by himself. That's okay. I've been here before. Now I know which way is out.
Are you going to pick a direction and just start going somewhere?
This way. And I just start walking.
Okay, so you just start to wander. As you walk, the liquid beneath your feet seems to slowly over time get a little thicker and thicker. We'll come back to that later.
Okay.
Now back to the rest of you. As you are all pulled through space and time, an uncomfortable sensation of conjuration magic pulling you elsewhere, solid ground once more presses underneath your feet. Your surroundings are entirely dark, magically so. And your sight is unable to penetrate this darkness. From a few feet in front of you, you hear a familiar voice utter the word, Illuma, and light starts to swell in the space around you. 10-foot tall arcane braziers spaced roughly 20 feet apart from each other fill this very large space around you that looks like the interior of some kind of magic shop. and the braziers cycle through light, multicolored, some green, some red, some violet. And you see familiar coloration of drapery and billowing tent-like apparel in the bright oranges and oranges of the space that was Mirage's temporary space out in Kirsan. You're able to see Mirage standing in front of you. Without explanation, Mirage simply walks forward through the space, past aisles of blanketed tables and furniture, and proceeding to a large desk form ahead. He pinches a spot of ivory fabric and with a grand flourish, pulls it off the beautiful mahogany desk underneath. He moves to a drawer behind it and mutters an arcane phrase under his breath, and then removes from the drawer something and stows it in his pocket. He stands upright once more and approaches you all. So, my new Udinel friends, have you ever heard of the traveling troubadour known as Lanakir?
What kind of troubadour is he?
He was a man of high elven blood who died some decades ago. Some say he had connection to Aeridon, for his appearance was striking and singularly beautiful. He is credited with penning many of the most famous songs of the era: The Wizard in the Wren, Letters in the Sky, Behind Blue Scales, and several others you may have heard. Well, it would be an understatement to say Mirage is a fan of his work. And although this one has a penchant for flair and performance with various instruments, and he kind of waves his flute-like wand, Mirage has very little talent for singing, I'm afraid. Instead, perhaps this one's greatest passion, even more so than dabbling in the arcane and bringing magical wares into the hands of his kin, is collecting prose and writings of famous tellers of tales and troubadours' instruments from throughout history. Mirage has a rather extensive and diverse collection of pristine works of many great songstresses and performers, violins bowed by famous hands, original sheets of music written by talented minds, that sort of thing. But a few years ago, this one stumbled onto a rare find. The original composition for a lesser-known work of Lanakir that Mirage had never heard before. As this one is sure you're aware, the tunes of bards are often simple entertainment, speaking of falsehoods as often as truth for the pleasure of the audience. But this work, as Mirage read it and let the melody fill his mind, this one could not help but grow certain there was some truth to these words of Lanakir. The song is titled The Flooding of Her Tears, and it speaks of the goddess Modera's plight and the war almost 2 millennia ago that brought mortal kind into the 5th era. However, it also speaks of a supposed rare treasure that this one believes Lanakir himself may have found. If you will indulge this one for a moment. A bit of mood lighting, please. Mirage gestures with his flute as if it were an arcane wand, and the lights in the braziers around you dim and change, still cycling from red to blue to purple to yellow to green, staggered from each other in this grand display, but soft, dim lighting. And as he points to a colorful portion of tent ceiling drapery above with his flute, shadows that are cast around the space from the flickering arcane flames warp and form into two-dimensional figures on the cloth that dance and move along with the words he begins to sing. When chaos spread and darkness grew, in ages past unknown to you, Modera called her heroes to defeat her foes and fears. They fought with pride, peace they would bring, and win the war of sundering. Yet still we sing of suffering and flooding of her tears. May the goddess sleep to rest and heal and weep, for when awake new day will break and warm those in her keep. When seeing those she loved were slain, the goddess's eyes welled up with pain, and so to earth did water rain, of opalescent clear. It soaked into and stained the ground, and raised the ocean's world around, a beauty lost and seldom found, in flooding of her tears. May the goddess sleep to rest and heal and weep. For when awake, new day will break and warm those in her keep. Conducting the shadows like a symphony, Mirage lowers his flute hand, and the braziers in the space darken, dimming so low that the shadows on the ceiling are no longer visible. And Mirage turns to face you all, reaching into the pocket of his maroon long coat and withdrawing a small navy blue box. And he holds it in front of him tenderly with both hands towards you all in the now extremely dim environment. But to those that search with careful eye and wander deep and venture high, may someday be bewildered by a gemstone that appears. For bloody war was followed by an era when her tears had dried. Celestial sorrow crystallized from flooding of her tears. As he delicately unlatches the metal clasp to the small box and opens it, light once more illuminates his face, your face, and the space around you. Not by the still dimly lit braziers, but by a jewel set within this box in front of you. The gemstone held by Mirage is impossibly iridescent, refracting all manners of hues of light around it. The gem itself seems exquisitely clear in color, and yet throws shades of vermilion, ruby, and the greens and golds of emerald and topaz radiate from it, seemingly luminescent in its own right. The jewel is smaller in size than a fingernail, and yet its grandeur immediately indicates its extraordinary value. For those familiar, this is very much Arkenstone or even Silmaril level of beauty. He continues to hold the box. A tear of Modera, likely to be the only one you ever lay eyes on. Clearly, there seems to be some truth to Lanakir's tale in that song. Through a decade of researching and investigating Lanakir's estates and journey and interactions, I eventually found my way to the tear he seems to have acquired himself. Mirage thinks he will keep that particular tale to himself, but suffice to say this one is surely an extraordinarily rare company to hold possession of such a gem. And as y'all continue to stare at the gem's brilliance, your vision seems to just be drawn in further and further into its radiance, until visual is abruptly cut off, almost painfully, as Mirage snaps the lid closed once again and stows it back in his pocket. And with a gesture of his hands, the braziers in the space around you blaze once more with welcoming colors. And ambient music actually begins to fill the space around you, seemingly enchanted into this space. So, my new friends, Mirage is, of course, in search of more of these so-called tears, now that he knows they actually exist. But he has no lead to follow as of yet. So, my elf friend, regarding that enchanted quiver you desire, we will say 500 gold, that small diamond you mentioned, and you must promise this one to keep your eyes and ears peeled for any shred of evidence for the existence of any more of these gems. Mirage will pay wildly handsomely, even for just information or, goddess willing, a tear itself.
I think that's possible.
Consider it me deputizing you to be my agents in the world abroad.
Are there windows in here?
There are windows in here that seem to be stained glass that filter in various colors. Are you looking at them with any sort of intent to understand?
I probably can't tell. If it's stained glass, I probably can't tell. I'm like, so we knew what time it was when we walked into the tent. Feels like it was probably like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I knew what the sun was. Is it possible to tell, like, is it drastically different time here?
Even without a check, because of this nature of the stained glass, it is borderline impossible to tell directionally where the sun may be situated, or even if the light is magical or natural. Borderline impossible to determine any of your outside surroundings from within this space.
Gotcha.
But Mirage begins to slowly walk back to his desk, stows the box once more in his dresser, and walks back to you all.
Have
Well-
you deputized?
Yes, what is it, my friend?
Have you deputized many in this way?
A few that I trust, and you as Udinil are not people I encounter often, so I am frankly hopeful that in your future travel through Udinil lands, you may have reach that this one has not been able to accommodate. But shall we make
Mirage.
our way back to town? Yes, my other elven friend.
Yeah, I've heard of one of these stones. I could give you the name of somebody that has one, but it's gonna cost you.
Do you mean seriously? You have encountered tale of how do you know it is one of these stones? There are gemstones throughout the world that are invaluable to those that keep them, but to identify one as a tier specifically, how do you know?
Well, I mean, I've seen it. You just showed me another one. It looked exactly the same as that.
Where did you find this?
I just saw a glimpse of it. Like I said, can't give you any more information until you fork over a little bit of gold.
He is wildly intrigued, and yet your emphasis on payment definitely gives him reason for pause. So I am going to have him roll an insight check, and you can deceive him if you would like.
Yes.
Oh, he did not roll well. This one has only met you, and he does not know your trustworthiness, but Mirage is frankly flush and would not shy away from the chance to even get a lead of where to follow. What type of payments are you interested in for such a lead?
Gold. I'll give you the name and the city and of this person, and you'll give me some gold.
Fair enough. What type of gold are you looking for?
Well, how much do you think the name is worth? Let's start with that.
To me, the location, I think, would hold the most value. Let's start with that. Location, 200 gold.
All right, how about this? I'll give you name and location, 300 gold.
This one struggles. He does not know whether you speak truth, but I am rather eager. Make a persuasion check for 300. Really, really, really good. I suppose 300, even if for false information, may give this one a starting place to look for another. 300 it is. He will go back to his desk and withdraw a small coin purse and drop 300 gold into Jax's hand.
Jax will take it and add it to the 75 that he's got and put it into his shirt pocket.
Okay.
And
So that's name and location.
All right. Don't be too hasty. We'll start with the name. There's the name is Anka. The location is Daenor.
Daenor. Is this jewel, is it someone of this Onka, someone of noble descent in bloodline, or should we say shadier circumstance?
Definitely on the shadier side of things.
Okay.
Would you be interested in going to Daenor?
This one has never been. This one has traveled to Auroras in Belladonna only less than a handful of times, and that's kind of is the extent of his travels outside of Chimeras, that is.
Raj,
I would say in the future, Daenor could be on this one's list, but...
Well, let me know, because I'm from that city, so if you ever want to head that way, I can introduce you to Anka. You can... I'm not exactly sure where we'd find this individual, but I'd help you look.
This one would be much obliged. He takes a deep bow. Thank you for the information, friend. And if I find it to be of no value, perhaps I will just have to spike a price or two for you in the future, should we cross paths again.
Raj, we could kill him together if you find out he lied to you.
Extreme circumstance and consequence. I like the vigor, but hopefully it will not come to that.
He's just joking. He knows he wouldn't kill me. Then he'd kill his good buddy Jiri.
This one is beginning to be confused, and he is eager to get back to his tent. I also hope your other compatriot does not fret over our brief getaway. Shall we make our way back to town? Let us just say this is the true Arcanium, the Mirage Arcanium.
Where
But
is
with
it
that,
located?
this key, and he pulls out his intricate crystal key with its lattice of strange geometry and odd angles, was given to me, bestowed by a friend who is perhaps the wisest arcane mind this one has met. It was a gift. I believe this is technically considered a pocket plane. It exists nowhere but within this key. And with that, he pushes in the key into the midair, and you see like a shimmer kind of sprawl out from the key, almost as if there was like the slightest hint of a shimmering door in front of you. And as he turns it, once again, you all just translocate, disapparating. Okay. And you are all pulled once more through space, and you land back on the dirt road alleyway of Kirsan. As I move you guys back. So you are back in Kirsan, still mid-afternoon on Fredas, 13th of Frostfall. So let us go grab that quiver that caught your eye, my friend. And as you all kind of follow Mirage back to his tent, Toby Rama, with your passive perception, as you guys are following Mirage to his tent, you swear you think you hear him humming another song under his breath before realizing that is not his voice. And that sound is not coming from him.
As soon as we land, can I immediately look up to make sure Moby 3 is still floating up there somewhere?
Yeah, make a perception check. You do not see Moby 3 hovering up above your location, the alleyway, but rather you hear some sort of beeping alarm going off ahead closer to the tent space where you guys had left Mirage's temporary tent. And as you guys walk closer to that sound, you recognize Moby 3, who is now hovering like 5 feet above Sora, and Sora is like leaping to try and grab Moby 3 and sees you guys saying, "Where did you all go? Your strange flying sphere has been drawing attention from everyone. Don't disappear like that. My task is to get you to Korik." She's very much fretting, and Moby 3 is definitely beeping an alarm, and then upon seeing you, hovers back over to you. But otherwise, you guys are able to proceed to Mirage's tent, and he goes and retrieves the quiver of Ilana and presents it to Telperion for payment, which I believe you've already deducted from your sheet, so we can finalize that transaction. Pleasure doing business with you, my new friend. How about that that's rather unique obsidian handkerchief? Were you interested in this at some point, I believe?
I think we need to talk as a group if we want to make an investment.
Okay, that is more than acceptable. Just find this one back whenever you are willing to make any more business. Absolutely. Which one caught your eye, my friend? Very well. Let me go retrieve it. Let me go check. Um, Here is the spell scroll. Kind of a tier 3 magical potency to this. It is 500 gold for this scroll. However, and I know the nature of this spell can imbue several of your allies with the enchantment as well. I may also interest you perhaps though in something a little bit cheaper should it suit your same purpose. I also have a potion, and he kind of rifles through another drawer and pulls out just a potion of very clear, it looks like water, liquid. Says, this will accomplish the same thing. It is a potion of water breathing for a mere 100 gold. Should that be of any use to you? It is far cheaper, though it will not let you imbue, all of your friends with the same ability. Very well. This one will not argue to make more coin. Just wanted to do you the service of trying to be reasonable. 500. Let us do this thing.
Toby, because this seems like it's a bit of a party gift as well. Just take this, and I'll hand you a garnet that is 100 gold.
Oh, a beautiful stone this is. This one was originally a jeweler before he ever found himself into dabbling in peddling arcane wares. So this one appreciates jewels and trinkets as such. Thank you. That will do nicely. Is there anything else this one can interest you in or help with?
I do have a few items on me that I'm curious if you'd be interested in them, or you could tell me what they'd be good for. This is the pelt of a rare creature. I wasn't as careful as I could have been when I was pulling it off the creature, so I may have harmed it a bit, but it might have some use to someone who could mend it, and I want to show him the damage displacer pelt.
Okay. He will immediately turn up his nose and just be like, what manner of beast did this oh, a displacer beast, it seems. This is this one does not typically dabble in the fineries, he winces as he says that, of tanning items and turning them into fur coats and such. This could be rather valuable to the right buyer. This one would say he is perhaps not very interested. The hide itself is, I'm sure, of great value. Those beasts are have arcane capabilities of their own. I would value this pelt as at maybe 20 to 30 gold, perhaps. But this one, I am sad to say, would not be interested in buying at the moment.
All right. Well, if you don't have the stomach for these things, maybe this next one won't please you either. But I'm curious what you think of this, and I pull out the beating minotaur heart in a jar.
Yes, he also just his jaw drops a little bit, and just his eyes go in a concerned look. What in the? It is beating? Where did you come by this? And what natured creature is this heart from?
We ran afoul of a rather wicked hag, and this was something she'd collected from a minotaur.
This is of Villian.
Yes, a hag in the Emerald who we slew had collected this.
You do us all honor to slay such a creature. He sets it down on a table. I am not even interested in holding that. It turns this one's stomach to see a Villian's heart warped by such magic. A true travesty this is. This one is, again, sure, that has some arcane value, but this one does not have stomach for it. It could be valuable, but this one is not interested in any transaction of that nature.
And thank you for letting me know to be careful with it here.
Yes, definitely. Although pelts and beasts' furs and coats and such that is all survival of the land, to each their own, just surviving in this cruel world. But yes, I would not eagerly, especially frankly as Udinil in strange lands, I would not encourage letting it become apparent that you are in possession of such an item.
Very well, thank you. And I hand it to you to put into the bag of holding.
Sure, I'll put that in the bag.
All the things of interest I had. Anyone else?
Very well.
Mirage, quick question. You had a case of a couple of small figurines. I've got
Yes,
one
that is correct.
I'm wondering if I could maybe add it to your collection or trade or something. And I'll pull out the chicken.
Platinum chicken.
The platinum chicken, and I'm just wondering. Well, I've used this maybe once to see what it actually does, but I'm wondering what you have, and it might be something more useful than a egg-laying chicken.
Very interesting. This is very much up my alley. Do you mind? And he will take it from you and kind of trace his claws in the air, and you see like the drift of purple magic trailing off his claws, and his eyes go white for just a flash. Fascinating. This is no Villian made this. This is clearly of perhaps gnomish make. This enchantment is very useful. I frankly think it will be no problem finding a buyer for something of such value to any commoner, as this would provide a day's worth of food every day. I could certainly buy this from you for, could we say 50, maybe 60 gold? I am, of course, more than welcome to look into a transaction with my figurines. Mine are a bit more arcanely useful and therefore priced appropriately. I can go over those if there's any that catch your eye. And he will go over to his little cherry wood box and kind of lift up the thing. And there's a golden lion for 1,400 gold. I believe that's a silver raven for 1,000 gold. Those are the two cheapest. Then there's an ebony fly for 3,500, a marble elephant for 3,500, an onyx dog for 2,500, and a bronze griffin for 5,000.
What would one do with a raven like this?
This one, it can act as a messenger. You can imbue it with knowledge and send it out into the world, and it can, I believe, traverse that distance magically, knowing where to go, and can convey messages, I believe.
Save you some letter writing time. Well,
that would be 1,000. With our previous business, I may be able to be flexible in some way.
We have some statues to try to sell, so maybe we could come back in an hour or so once we've let a group think about what purchases they'd like to make.
Very well. Yes, please go peruse the rest of the markets, make some coin, and this one will be happy to entertain you again.
Hold on to that chicken, and just also hold on to that raven. Keep the birds safe until.
Very well. Very well. Will do. So, where are all of you off to next?
Apologies, Sora. Our new shopkeeper friend there took us on a bit of a tour of his shop, and I guess we must have got lost. And I'm glad to see Moby 3 did his job and alerted you, but we're perfectly fine for now.
Okay,
I guess,
good.
Have you found Korik at all, or no, not yet?
This one has not seen Korik yet, but I have been keeping my eyes peeled until your strange contraption started making a ruckus, but I will now just stick more closely to all of you. But where to next? I'm sure Korik will make himself known once he sees us walking about.
Hyperion is shoving 36 javelins into the new quiver.
Perfect.
The glaive, a longsword, the needles.
Beautiful.
I believe we're headed off to an antiquities dealer named Shanor somewhere.
The antiquarian?
Somewhere over in this district that Mirage pointed us to.
Was it Sharon?
No, I know who it was. It was Shanor. She's a pillar of this community.
So we shouldn't rip her off.
Sharon is a stupid name.
I look
What?
at Jax as I say that. We shouldn't rip her off or anything,
Why not?
because it would come back to hurt us.
Which way, Sora?
It is just down this stall of markets. It is one of the few actual establishments here, and outside of the typical stands and stalls you see spread around.
Well, if she's a pillar, hopefully she likes statues.
Marble?
Very well. Yes, this way. And Sora will lead you to where she is roughly familiar where Shanor's Antiquities is. And as you arrive, just a very simple wooden shop front. That's kind of wooden's actually the wrong word for it. A lot of the building structures in this environment are very terracotta and clay brickwork built into the sand-like environment. Though there are very, very large, ornate wooden doors that are just left open, and Sora just continues in. That is Shanor, right up at the counter. Feel free to interact however you wish. I do not know the woman well, but I heard she is very fair with her interactions with those who bring valuables.
What's like in this building as we walk into it?
As soon as you walk in, there are a few wooden tables set along the kind of stone floor, but primarily just inside the doors to your right and left, there are 2 7-feet tall Minotaur armed guards that have very large weapons on their backs and sides and just have their arms crossed and just regard you with a side look as you walk in, and their eyes follow you as you proceed. And there is only one other person in this establishment as of yet. It's a rather small wooden establishment, but there's a large, almost bartender-like front counter 20, 30 feet in, where a large turtle woman is just leaning over. How can I help you all?
We've been directed here by a few market people. Who runs markets? Shop owners? Purveyors. Purveyors have recommended we come to you with a few of things that we'd like to sell.
Very well. I'm excited to see what you Udinil have for me. Well, let's take a look. It doesn't look like you carry with you many paintings or vases, etc. And now that you're kind of up toward the front counter, you see there are various rooms back behind her stall counter where there are like a bunch of covered canvas paintings lined up along walls, and like cabinets of jewelry and vases and ornamental dressing and helmets and mounted swords and such back behind her.
I take out the Tome of the Dragon Sword. Pleasure to meet you. Shanor, was it?
Yes, Shanor.
My name is Roulette. My friends and I, we've traveled quite a bit over the past couple of weeks actually, through the Amarin, and we came across a bit of a horde of I'll say statues. Let me ask you this before I even get to that, and I'll open the book to the first page. What would you pay to commission for something like this? If I could make this like 8 foot tall, let's say marble or copper or iron, if I could craft one of these statues.
Are you just showing her one of the statues that you have pressed into the book?
Yeah.
So for an appraisal value,
Yeah.
She will, if you allow her, kind of flip back and forth between the first kind of pages where you have some of these set in there, and functionally, without RPing every single individual one, she will appraise the total value of all 9 statues at roughly 1,400 gold pieces. And she will immediately convey that she's only willing to offer in this first moment 1,000 gold or so, because it will take time to find buyers that she can make profit from should she find statues like that.
18 originally, I think, because it's 200 a piece. But we're not going to offset these anywhere else. remember. Can I just a general quick passive insight check on whether or not she's being honest, like to upsell
Sure.
or downsell us? Not
Absolutely. Go ahead and make an
Active.
insight check. Very difficult, just because this woman, you've never really interacted with a turtle other than the man who ran the Castle and Cask back in Ostennis.
Oh yeah.
But just like the nature of their facial construction and the heavy creases and ridges and scales, like it's difficult to read facial cues from someone like this that you're not used to. So difficult to tell if she's being straightforward with you or deceptive.
You mentioned somewhere between 1,000 and 1,400.
Roughly, I think 4,000 I would feel comfortable making profit.
Okay. Trying to think, is there anything else I can throw in to sweeten the deal? Do we have any art? We have no art.
I have something separate I'd like to sell her, but that's probably not related to this. 9 statues. We had initially, and in our group huddle, I say initially when we looked at the 9 statues, we thought they'd be about 200 each, but that may have been a little over generous because we were in the dark and scared. Maybe we could sell a half and just hang on to the other half.
We're not going to find a better place to offload 9 big ass statues.
Ask her if half would be more than 500, though. Say how much for 5?
What about if I sold you half of them?
You wouldn't have to be so worried about buyers.
Fewer to sell, and you can mark them up at a higher price.
It would require less legwork. I work very closely with the Orakaba as well, and they may be able to help facilitate some connections to find buyers.
The Orakaba is the merchant guild, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They also are of elven make, which may be of interest to Villian that don't often interact with those kinds. If you had 5 of these, if you were able to create or acquire 5 of these, I could perhaps sell them or buy them for 600 gold.
How about 650? And I can promise same day delivery.
Same hour, really.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Because of my sentence.
No, because of same day delivery is very appealing.
16.
I love the -1. That would be amenable. How do you mean same day delivery?
Do you
Where would you like them?
Where do you want them?
Do you have them just outside? Anywhere here is fine. I will have Dragon Bavan help me escort them to the back.
Like as she's saying here is fine, I will step back. And so I feel like Toby, you remember this. 3 marble, 3 copper, 3 iron. Ancient
stone, copper, marble.
Ancient stone, copper, and marble, and we're giving her 5.
Really, we should have done 6.
No, that's fine. We'll keep 2 marble. And as she's saying, here is fine, I'm going to step back and I will tear out the first page. I forget what the word was. I think it's Rasvim. And I'll tear out the first page, pointing to in front of me, and a copper statue appears.
Yeah, as soon as you say that word, the picture on the page starts to glow, and as you rip it, it just disintegrates in your hand, and in front of you is conjured that statue. My goodness, how did you manage that?
Well, I can only do it a few more times because of
A
that.
rather rare tome you have there. Would you be interested at all in selling that?
At the moment, not yet, but it's good to know that you've got good eyes and good taste for
this one would be a very interested buyer in that specific type of enchantment. Should you find the urge to sell it, Shanor would gladly take it off your hands. Sure, it would greatly benefit our business and that of the Orakaba.
We'll keep you in mind in case we ever find ourselves looking to part with it. But here is good for the rest of them.
Yes, this is great. Drag Bavan, you will be able to bring this in the back in a few moments. And one of the Minotaurs just grunts and nods.
And then I will, the other 4. So she gets 2 stone, 2 copper, 1 marble.
Got it. 2 stone, 2 copper, 1 marble. And she will give you 650 gold.
Sweet.
That would have been.
Telperion, make an intelligence check.
I believe.
Or history specifically.
Oh, it was almost a 7, then it went to 15. 20.
20 is very good. With the nature of these statues, and as Shanor kind of described, that these might be valuable to people that have otherwise not been able to interact with elves, you also realize the nature of these being wood elven statues might interest your people too. So you start to have a seedling that your people, the Ithawinge in general, may value these statues as well. So you kind of think they could be potential buyers someday.
Okay, great. Glad we didn't sell all of them. While they're managing that, I have something a little more sensitive in nature. Maybe we could go back over here and I could show you a few things I've acquired.
Very interesting. I think you can feel free to. There's no one else in the establishment at the time, and anything you show me can be shown in front of Dragon Bavan. What is the nature of this item?
Something poisonous.
Interesting. In what way?
In a concentrated vial of poison. I don't know if you would know anyone who might appreciate something of delicacy as this.
Shanor, I run a legitimate business here, of course. I couldn't possibly complete a transaction for something as foul as poison that could be used for ill. But listen closely. Just because I work with the Oracaba and make them good money, enough to perhaps warrant them to turn a blind eye here and there, I'd have to be mad to take that off your hands. Or mads, rather. Perhaps you need to go next door and grab a drink, Udinil. Ale's a bit expensive there, mind you, but I suspect tipping 10 gold should get you a taste.
We appreciate your business. Thank you for the help. We're new to the city and we are excited to rest and have a drink.
Very well. Well, is there any other items you're hoping to unload off your persons? All right. Thank you for stopping in my shop this day, and should you have any desire for... She ponders for a moment as I ponder. If you want to make an extra 4,000 gold or so, you bring that tome back.
Holy shit.
You want it full or empty?
How much do you have stored in there?
Just a handful of pages. That 4,000 gold. And I'm not taking the book back out. Shanor, you seem smart. I think you understand what the book does. That 4,000 gold. How many pages worth is 4,000 gold? Or are you just looking to deconstruct this and kind of build your own?
I have interest in bringing it to the Orakaba's attention and seeing what we may use it for. 4,000 is a loose number to draw your attention back, but for a final transaction, we may need to further investigate what is left available from the tome.
Understood. I'll keep that in mind. And I appreciate the upfront number and offer there.
And that deal would stand if any of us brought you that book, correct?
She eyes you with a strange look, but says, "Yes, it would not matter the seller. This one would be a buyer."
But Chanel, it's important to know that we own the book as a group, so if any one of us brought it and not the whole group, I wouldn't trust it.
She kind of shares looks between looking back and forth from Telperion to Jax. Very well. Regarding incenses, actually, frankly, that can be found at the cat's place as well, but that aristocat person that sets up their tent every once in a while, I know them to do heavy trade in jewelry and the like, so you could find business there, I'm sure.
Pop next door.
Next door to the ale house she kind of recommended.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you guys kind of head out, and the Minotaurs pay you no mind whatsoever as you leave, seemingly satisfied with your interactions with Shanor. And you kind of walk out to the next place. There's kind of a shoddily constructed wooden fence post, like patio barrier around the front with some various tables out there. And there are several patrons gathered and just drinking outside, sharing stories, playing gambling games on tables. And as you push into the place, you see the name of the this bar is painted on a wooden sign. It says Motley's Brew. And you are welcome to walk in. It is a very busy bar. A lot of both merchant types and kind of clearly identifiable shadier individuals as well, in leather armors with daggers at them and like cowls that cover parts of their face. Very busy environment in here, very lively and etc. But there is a bartender up at the front, and there are various patrons, etc., throughout the space.
I go up. I say, 4 ales. I hear people are mad for them, and I'll preemptively put 10 gold down as a tip.
Oh, fair. Oh, I see. You see this woman, the bartender, seems very humanoid. She looks like a human, though her ears are a bit more rounded than typical humans, and her teeth are almost buck teeth, but they're slightly spaced apart and seemingly like slightly rodent-like.
I knew it.
She also has very definitively kind of ungroomed whiskers protruding from her upper lip. Lads will be very happy to serve you all some ales. Let me go back into the back. Do you want to join me for just to help with all 4 ales? It's a bit much for me to carry.
Certainly. Did any of you want to come with me to help carry the ale? Okay, I go.
Very well. Strange Udinil. What a day. And she kind of pulls a tapestry off to the side and allows you to walk in, and she'll walk in with you.
Attract 10
and
gold.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, she definitely swipes it. Oh, you do notice that as she swipes it off the counter, she like counts it out and is sniffing every coin, and she bites the 3rd one and the 5th one and the 10th one in a very strange way, and then gives you a nod to follow her. And as soon as you kind of pass into the back area she suggested, she whips around at you, having allowed you in first, and she now blocks the door. So, someone must have recommended you to me. What are you peddling?
What kind of business are you in? I have a few things that might interest you, but curious what you like.
I am simply a middlewoman. I pass things from people to other people. Very above board, I assure you. I just sometimes buy things that others may be too scared to buy.
I sometimes craft things that people are scared to buy, so this sounds like something that would work well. I have these, and I pull out 3 vials of basic poison.
I know I could find buyers for these. Let me Google because I literally don't know the value of vials of poison. Poison, basic, cost 100 gold. Those are not cheap. And you have 3 of them? For my time and effort, along with the subtle nature of a transaction like this, I could give you 150 gold for all 3 of these.
It took quite a while, so I fear that with the trouble of finding the raw ingredients, crafting them, the components involved, I need a bit more than that. 250?
Make
And
a
then I
persuasion check.
Okay. Oh God. 9.
She says, I think I need to, for my own, I have to run a business, you see, and make a profit. Tending bars, not exactly where my ambitions lie, you see. I think I need to hold firm at the 150 and just in case you're considering shaking me down or anything. As she coughs, 3 figures step from various other portions of previously darkened environment in that space, just standing there.
Well,
You're welcome to walk if you're interested in finding other buyers. This one would be a buyer for 150.
I hold up the 3 vials.
Very well. Snatches them, ruffles through her own kind of side purse, and drops into your hand 15 platinum coins.
Okay, let me check if I have anything else of interest for you. Are you interested in raw ingredients?
Go back to the music since we're not quite stressful situation.
I don't know that you
raw ingredients. I might know some people who would value those. I'm not sure if I have buyers lined up for that sort of thing. What do you have in mind?
I pull out the jewel tentacle.
Ugh. What is that thing?
Honestly, I don't know. I killed it myself. It was a odd creature with tentacles that erupted out of a friend of mine. Actually, an enemy of mine. Actually, I don't remember.
She looks at one of the other people in the room and says, would Jules want something like this? And the kind of burly, just kind of tan, bald panther-like, or cougar-like tabaxi person just kind of shrugs. It is interesting, certainly. I could see if we have a buyer, but I think I would need to check with them before I offer any gold.
That's fine. All right. Well, last thing I could show you of interest, and I pull out the damage displacer pelt.
It's kind of gross, don't you think?
I mean, I filleted this off the creature itself after it had been dead for some time, so gross is relative term here.
She pulls out a dagger and approaches you, and as you're like holding it out, she kind of like uses the dagger to like hold it and kind of inspect the underside of it, and it holds up limply a tail with its like spine sticking out of the tail.
Had this appraised at over 30.
The fillet job leaves something to be desired, but I could see how this could be put to good use. We have various tailors and such that could make something rather ghastly looking out of this. I could do 15.
I think I'll save it. It has some properties that are worth more than that. But it's
make a persuasion check as you say that, because she may be enticed with the aloofness.
Oh, it was almost 17. 16 total.
Wait. I'm not going to do 30 because I don't even know if I have a buyer for this, but it's certainly unique. 25.
I have the briefest. Yeah, I'm very interested. I have the briefest wonderings if Roulette would have been interested in trying to use this for something. Do I have any memory of if Roulette would have been interested in this?
Which was this?
A damage displacer pelt. I don't know how good you are. I'm trying to remember if she ever said she was interested.
Less biological for Roulette, more mechanical.
25 then.
Very well. Hey, Jar, will you take this? I'm not really. Yeah, you got it. And one of that same tabaxi, lioness type looking tabaxi, kind of comes and just grabs it, stows it in a pouch, and Mads will give you another 25 gold.
Wonderful. All right, Mads, it's been a pleasure.
Great doing business with you. Please enjoy the tavern, and we'll pull back the tapestry and allow you to rejoin your friends. For the others of you that were just potentially sipping an ale, anything you're doing in that space? Are you kind of posting up at the bar, or going to a table?
Roulette's probably just sitting at a table, taking out her notebook and writing the first sentence of that letter back to Mom and Dad, just saying, "How's it going?"
Yeah, not sure how to fill out the rest of your letter. Too many thoughts to concisely put in writing. Perfect. So you're starting to kind of work on that. Anything, Jiri and Toby?
Jax is gonna find the seediest looking group of individuals and just like go get comfortable with them and shoot the shit with them and see like what's going on.
Okay, you head over to a group of like three. There's two hobgoblins and a bugbear, just kind of sitting and clinking drinks and arm wrestling and just throwing dice on a table and kind of trading gold periodically. And you identify them as kind of some, just because of the way they're armored and armed. You identify them as kind of tough. Perhaps like strong arms in the city. Toby Rama, with your passive perception, as Jack's heading over to them, you notice that one of the bugbear individual had been very carefully clocking Telperion moving in and out of Mads's back room. So Jax just happens to be going over to that group that was, one of them was clearly watching carefully the Mads interaction. But yeah, Jax, you're welcome to go over there.
Yeah, he just goes over there and he is just gonna, what is he gonna say? He's just gonna sit down with them and like introduce himself and just like hear, just communicate with them and just hear kind of what they're saying, what they're up to, maybe get in on some games of like gambling, maybe do some drinking, arm wrestling, that kind of stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and make a kind of just general carousing. Give me a persuasion check.
Carousing.
They are very fascinated to have a Udinil half-drow elf come up to and engage with them in drinking games. And so they happily engage in conversation with you. They will, they'll be somewhat reserved on information they tell you about any jobs or current passions of theirs that they're invested in, but they are certainly willing to cut you in on some gambling games if you're trying to do so over the next like 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, lightly. I'm not gonna gamble too much. Maybe like maximum, just like with silver, you know. Nothing into the gold.
Sure. Let's say if you subtract 5 silver, go ahead and make a how do we want to make like a gambling roll? I don't know how to do that, but I'm definitely interested in if you want to cash it, you know, throw a couple silver down, you may stand to win something.
Yeah, I'll do 5 silver.
Let's do 5 silver and just give me another, give me a performance check.
I was gonna say it's gonna be like charisma or performance, I feel like.
Yeah. I was considering some decks, but this is very, holy shit, you're rolling really well. Let's say you make back from them 2 gold total. So you minus 5 silver, but you make plus 2 gold. And if you weren't so charismatic in those interactions, you are getting vibes that like they're a little frustrated that you just walked in and just made some gold off them, but they enjoyed your company enough. They're like, ah, shit, that fucking sucks. But all right, you've made enough. Get out of here, you nil.
Did I get any vibes from that one specific bugbear that was like watching Telperion?
Make an insight check. That's really good. You got the feeling that although he was very competently engaging you and his friends in interaction and gambling, you definitely noticed most of the time his left arm was just on his short sword hilt. Just kind of like he was striking a pose sitting in a way where it didn't look awkward or aggressive, but he was very clearly orienting himself to be ready for action if the need arose. But yes.
All right, I'll just head
He's
back
very
to...
clearly intently watching for signs of struggle back there in that direction, etc.
Yeah, once I get the vibe that if I win any more gambling, like they're gonna start disliking me, I say my goodbyes and I part ways with them.
Yep, you know when to call it. Perfect. 2 gold richer. Well, 1.5 gold richer, kind of.
Yep.
Perfect.
Can we 3 have a talk while he's doing that?
For sure. Yeah, you guys are welcome to chit chat and RP and whatever you want while you're hanging out at the bar. Sora is just deep in her drink. She looks like she hasn't had a drink in a while and is just putting it away.
All right. What is she thinking? Well, he's not here.
What is she thinking? What'd you
No,
say?
I'm talking to these two, Toby and Roulette. Trying to figure. Wanted to hear what they had to say with Jack's not present.
I mean, I'm interested in that Raven, but I'm not sure it's going to actually be good enough for what I need it to do. But I want to go back and talk to Mirage at some point.
Certainly.
Oh, party member number 5.
6. We have to like keep him thinking we're going sometime soon. My fear is that he's gonna take off, rush to Dano where there's invasions going on. I don't think they'd look kindly on him. But then what happens if whatever happened reverses back and Jerry's just in the wilderness with none of his gear or the stuff that he's accustomed to using? And I don't trust it. His stuff with Jax. Jax will pawn it as soon as he can. Yeah. I also, if we're going to be doing camping or anything like that, I don't trust Jax with a watch. I'm not going to sleep while he's awake. And the 3 of us can easily shit. Did Jax say at any point when he was trying to appeal to us before this what it was like for him when he wasn't present? Like, do we have any guesses as to what's happened to Jerry at the moment? Is it like a vacuum and one of them is in it when the other's not? Jax could clearly, well, he was watching us from behind the veil, so Jerry is likely seeing us. I wonder if it's like, I don't know if it was your spell. Who can say?
I mean, as we
So maybe that. Maybe he just used that as an excuse to finally push through, and now Jiri has to figure out how to push back. Huh. Well, he's frightfully competent, I fear. Unlike Jiri. So I just whatever he says, I'll take it with a couple grains of pepper and let's leave it. Unrelated. What do we? How much do you like that book?
I mean, I'm not going to know its use until we come upon another set of 10 statues in the middle of the forest that we want to sell but can't carry.
I like the statues we have left, and I think my people, because they were created by wood elves, would be interested in them. So I don't think we'd be able to bring them back. So in which case we'd have to sell her the book and the statues. I don't know. It was a gift from Queen Elia in a sense, which
the way he he kind of gave a small demonstration, and the way he kind of unfolded the handkerchief and flapped it out and set it on the ground to make a 6-foot diameter hole. You would imagine these statues that are a little taller than that might not nicely fit in that hole.
Math. It's 6-foot diameter, 10 foot deep.
10 feet deep. So yes, it goes 10 feet deep. So you do think they can probably fit in that space.
We wouldn't be able to fit all of them though. Like if you imagine, because it's only like from where you're standing 3 feet around you, you could only fit like 2 statues in there vertically. I mean, this book, it can store a lot. There are currently 51 pages left.
I'm not totally willing to just part with it so easily for some gold. We can. Okay.
Roulette, make an Arcana check. Telpyria, make a History check.
$17.
24.
Telpyrian, you think that although this tome was clearly valued at a high price from Shanor, she also has no idea of its cultural or circumstantial significance, and you know it was held in a museum. So perhaps it could be worth more than Shanor suggested, even if she wasn't deceiving you by any means. Roulette, knowing the magical incantation of this, you know it's significantly more useful and potent of an enchantment than the portable hole. And so, which kind of aligns in similar vein of like, a museum had this magical artifact, not artifact, that's a strong word, but this magical valuable item that may, in addition to its function and arcane capabilities, have some cultural significance to it. So you both, being intelligent people, you're like, what Toby Ram is saying strikes true, that you might be able to find more value from this later.
And also, whatever the talent of the king of Dano or whatever, this was one of the few items that they were trying to steal from that. So, yeah, not worth trading away just for some gold. All right.
Old gentlemen, I've got to go.
Wait,
No, we're still.
Yeah, hang around too much more, and we might get a little upset. So, but well played.
And then I walk back over to the group and I say, "All right, what's next? Aren't you guys itching to get going?"
I realize I have one last question for Mirage, but then I'm interested in finding the bird.
This one agrees. Now that we've had our ale, we should we stand better chance to see Korek out about rather than stuck in some alehouse. Very well. You guys are all welcome to make your way back to the tent of Mirage.
Let me go first.
Oh, of course I do, my friend. Yes, this one has numerous components, jewelry, arcane means, inks and incenses, whatever you like. This one has heard of such magics. He has never used them himself, but yes. Very well. Certainly, yes. If you have the coin, this one will definitely have the components you need. Step over to this stall over here with me. And he kind of leads you over to another section where there's tables and stuff and drawers. And he mutters an arcane phrase under his breath. And you see a glyph on the drawer kind of alight and then pulse and then diminish. And he pulls out the drawer and pulls out 4 different bags of powdered, did you say diamond? He has 4 bags. Well, it looks like he's a lot more in that drawer, but he pulls out 4 bags, with each worth 100 gold worth of powdered diamond. So that's 400 gold of powdered diamond. Is there a specific gold value in incense you're needing? Gotcha. So he will also acquire for you some sticks of incense to kind of go along with that size of purchase. Yes, this one absolutely has that. He rifles through that same drawer and pulls out another bag of powdered silver and hands it to you. Allow me to appraise the gem for a moment. He holds it up. I'm going to give him an intelligence roll with proficiency for jewelry.
All right, diamond, and then the jewelry box.
Oh, this is a very clear cut of jewel. Yes, I think I could do 325 for such a beauty and still make some profit off of it. $325, $125 for $450 total of stuff. Perfect, got it.
1,100 gold worth of stuff. Jewels. And then the box is with 40 itself. Oh yeah. Should we hold on to it?
Were you all able to make any transactions that may weigh your pockets a bit for potential other purchases? This one has numerous goods that I'm sure could benefit you in your travels.
I'm curious. What do you think of this? And I want to show him the canister of Rael's soothing tea. And I want to open it up and I want to tell him what it does. And I want to say, unfortunately, there's only 4 bags left. I've used one of them. I am a bit of an herbalist myself, and I'd love to replicate this, or somehow, if I gathered the right herbs, create more. If you dissected a bag here, do you think you'd be able to help me identify its components so I could not just let it be some one-time use thing?
Perhaps. Let me take a moment with it. He will cast the Identify spell on it, tracing a glyph from his clawed fingers and studying it for a moment before stating that the bags of tea are not perhaps the value here. It seems they are a simple make of tea. The canister itself seems to be arcanely imbuing them with magical healing and bolstering properties. So I think you would be hard pressed to break down components for the tea that give you any benefits. You could probably put any bag of tea in this canister and it will imbue them with its capabilities, I imagine.
Are you serious?
Possibly.
Mirage.
There may be a certain tier of quality necessary for it to soak up the enchantment, but perhaps.
You don't have any tea on you, do you?
This one does not. I apologize.
All right, that's excellent. Thank you so much. Do you have any magic, like potent water for if I was to try to be crafting my own potions?
Sure. Yes, this one can acquire for you very good clarity of water. Is there any specific tier of high quality water you're looking for?
Probably just like basic.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up my little crafting rules real quick to get a sense of.
Well, and I have the tri-headed mushroom, which is probably more than basic.
Is that the one you found
Invisibility.
in the Underdark?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yes, that one is a little bit above basic, and you've identified it at this point. It's called Saakis Wax Cap. But yes, that is a tier above basic for sure.
I'll buy one. Well, I'll ask him how much that higher tier would be.
Of water specifically.
Yeah. Also, sorry for anyone who's bored of the shopping. I feel bad. I feel like I've done a lot of shopping.
It's okay. Might as well do it while you can.
Yeah.
He will sell you a vial of very beautifully enchanted. You can see the shimmer to it. It is enchanted water for 50 gold. That will aid in the creation of something above a basic potion or poison.
I'll buy that, and I'll ask him too if he has any grease, like a low basic grease, or actually medium grease.
Yes, this one definitely has various salves and waxes and such like that. Give me 2 gold and you can have this small canister.
Oh, sure. All right, so I'll give him 52 gold.
Perfect.
And the grease would be for poison making, right? That's what he sold me.
Yes, basic poisons.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's all I needed.
Okay. Awesome.
Mirage, and Critter, we don't need to roleplay this because I wanted to double check this. Would Roulette relatively know estimate as the crow flies how far it is from here to Storm's Edge?
Very loose estimate. Let me think about this. That was 180. This is roughly 100. I'm going to say you think it's probably more than 200 miles north from here to Storm's Edge. Roughly 200. It's very similar, although having potentially go through the Emerald Forest and across part of the Arbor Lock, all of that's kind of as crow flies. But like physical distance on a map, it's a little more than from Forest Hollow to Ostenis, which you guys traveled, and that was roughly 180 miles.
How long would that take to fly?
For a bird that traverses rather quickly, I would say 3 days.
Okay. We don't need to RP the entire conversation because I wanted to double check this because it was a silver raven.
It was a silver raven.
Mirage, I was interested in that silver raven, but I'm not sure it'll meet kind of the longer distance needs that my letters might be going. So I think I'll wait till we get down to the capital of Kier.
Oh, the capital of Chimeris is Cor Ital.
Cor Ital.
Or it's primordial for the heart of the land.
Heart of the land, not the
just as Kirsan is Kiss of the Desert. Yes.
So I'll hold off on getting that raven for now. Hold on to the chicken. Consider it just a friendly donation, and talking about you enlisting us, and I might seek your help at some point in the future for your enchantments are pretty intense, and I'm trying to do a bit myself. Only request though, don't sell that chicken. Give it to someone. You mentioned it's food for a day, and it kind of goes on and on infinitely. Give it to someone who you think might need it. Don't sell it, but it looks good in that collection next to that very, very sexy looking griffin in there. Yeah, so hold on to that for now.
A curious request, but this one will not argue for such a generous gift. I will add it to my collection and consider who to pay it forward to.
Last request. Any just general healing potions you might have?
Oh yes, this one has various potions and concoctions that could aid you for sure.
I'm just looking to snag one or two just basic healing potions.
Very well. Come with me over to this side of the stand here. And he has... There it is. He's got a lot of potions. But if you are interested in 2 potions of healing, for your generosity, no persuasion check required, he will sell you 2 potions of healing for 80 gold total.
Generosity going back and forth. I'll throw him the last garnet I have, which is I think 90 or 100.
Throw in some basic water then with that. Just like one little water.
This one could do that. Yeah. Here's another 2 vials of basic water.
Okay, so I'll give him the garnet, 2 basic potions of healing. You mentioned some other potions. Anything else interesting you might have?
Well, we have like antitoxins and elixirs of health, that kind of thing, greater and superior qualities of healing potions. We have that potion of water breathing should any of you need it, but it looks like your friend was more interested in the scroll. We also have potion of invisibility, 300. Potion of mirror image, 300. Potion of gaseous form, 300. Potion of speed, 500.
Anyone interested in any of these?
Potion of speed?
Functionally imbues the wearer with the components of a haste-like magic. 500 gold.
Sounds amazing, but I've spent so much money today.
Mirage, we'll hold off on the rest for now. Thank you for these. But I do think we have to be on our way for a bit.
There are 2 things left. Did you want to show him the jewelry box? He's a jeweler at heart.
Sure. I got, along with the rest of the haul we got from the forest, and I'll open up the jewelry box. Pearl necklace, ruby.
Opal necklace. And then the
gold,
green sapphire.
The gold sapphire ring.
Gold green sapphire ring.
Gold green sapphire ring is correct. Which is worth 500. Opal necklace is worth 300. Polished ruby is worth 300. And the jewelry box itself is valuable. Are you having him appraise all of that, or
keep in the box? I just want him to appraise the stuff inside of it.
He will confirm 500, 300, 300 for those larger or more beautiful quality items.
Any
so
chance
that's another 1,100.
Any chance you want to take these off our hand? I know we're probably piquing that jeweler's interest you got over there.
Certainly, yes. This one is, you do not have to have arcane capabilities to entice this one. I also deal with different clientele that may be very interested in this type of thing. Or I could simply work on enchanting these to give additional benefit. Certainly, 1,100 gold at your disposal if you want to give away those items.
Would love to do that. And, thank you for your business. So I'll give him the 3 things and take 1,100 gold.
As the opal leaves my sight, I'm just curious, is it just a standard opal necklace or is it like an elvish opal necklace?
You can make a history check.
Oh, 21.
You identify that it's very clearly not elven make.
Oh my God.
I don't think you're sure what make it is. It looks simple's not the right word, but very functional in a way that's just not like elaborate and like sleek and intentionally beautiful like elves are do crafting.
We'll divide that 1,100 by 4.
Do that later.
Yeah, I'll put Jerry's half in, or quarter in his.
I will hold on to the money for now. Sora, there's a spot where you normally meet Korik. Let's how about we get on our way?
We are not
No.
used to meeting up in this location. I would have thought he would make himself known by now, but
I pull out the goggles of night vision and show Mirage. And it's like, Mirage, a friend of mine, he's very particular and he doesn't like owls. And so I'm curious if you have owls of night vision that aren't ornately decorated like this. He is a peculiar fellow and he won't wear them because they have feathers on them.
very well. Let me see. He will put on the goggles, or not put on, but hold them to his face and immediately pulls back in like blinding light. Yes, this is perhaps not that delicate or difficult of an enchantment to imbue something with. This one does have something of similar nature. What I have in my wares is a little bit more refined than this, the plumage going on in here. So it may not be a one-for-one trade, but it will be close.
Let's see what you got.
Very well. Let me go over. He goes over to another kind of shelf and opens a cabinet door and pulls out a very small black velvet box. And as he clicks it open, they're like beautiful gold trimmed spectacles that are functionally goggles of night without being like obnoxious plumage and bird beak of an owl bear. They are simply look like literally spectacles, but you can clearly see the kind of tint of orange to the crystal lenses are very clearly magical.
And is it just that they're more refined looking, or is there some magical element that makes these different than what I'm presenting?
Functionally, they are the same. I think just it took me additional materials and care to craft such a thing. For the goggles that you have and are potentially willing to trade, another 100 gold would be a fair trade for these spectacles.
You would know that Jiri would be fine with you using.
Yeah, I reach in and I pull out 100 gold from the much gold we put into Jiri's tabby, and I do the trade.
Okay, perfect. So you give the goggles of night and subtract 100 gold from Jiri, and you now get goggles of night that look different.
In the meantime, I just put them on and get ready, and like I put them on my head and save them for Jiri.
Okay.
Jax is
Perfect.
flabbergasted that you just did that deal, and it's just like, you just wasted so much money.
Oh, Jax, you've made plenty today. Cool. That's
You
all.
have the goggles, right?
Yeah. I'll add goggles to my inventory until needed.
Perfect.
So
and
Tim, we
Jiri, and
subtract
Jiri
100.
minus
Yep.
100. Yeah.
Yep,
Cool.
I'm subtracting 100 from Jiri.
Perfect.
And then let's just divide that.
We'll do it later.
Let's just finish it up. The money from the jewelry box was 275 to Toby, to Roulette, to Telperion, and Jiri gets 275 in his tabby.
Okay.
Now we're done.
Perfect. As you guys start to conclude business with Mirage, you hear the fluttering of a small bird very close to you all, and as a very small peregrine falcon takes perch on Sora's shoulder, Sora like reacts quickly. Oh, you know I hate it when you do that. Sorry, friends. It took me a while to find you. The falcon itself seemingly talking. But it looks, I heard there was news of Udinil making business and commotion in the streets, and it appears I found you. Well met, friends. As Korik in falcon form right now is currently sitting on Sora's shoulder. And I'd like to take a quick bio break there to grab some grub and bio.
Biological break.
Cool. Thank you, Mike, for doing that trade for Jiri.
You're very welcome. He literally texted me to do it.
I love, thanks for that, Jax. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Everyone gets 160 for the statues.
Was that 600 we sold it for?
650.
650.
I'm taking the extra. 160.
160. It is really juicy to
I'm so rich.
get to do all those transactions of stuff we've acquired that don't need anymore. Like, oh, very satisfying.
Yeah, it's really, you guys, like, you were trading a lot of value, but it's not like, oh shit, constant hits to your inventory gold. It's like, oh, here's a gemstone that is this much, or here's these statues. Just to be clear, no portable hole for now.
Correct.
Okay.
Steve and I were talking about it, and we kind of were like, we have now 3 of our own: the quiver, the bag, and the book of like that. We didn't necessarily need it.
Also, Critter, I have nicknamed the Mirage side quest Bardic Inspiration.
Oh, Crit, what I think I'll do is I'm going to make a magic water item in my inventory, and I'll just keep track of the different tiers. So now I have 2 level 1 tiers, 1 level 2 tier.
Perfect.
And yeah, let me know later how many uses of grease that I got from him, because he said like pack or something.
Sure. Yeah, it was like a canister. I mean, you can give me just a 1d4 plus 1 roll.
Gotcha. 3.
Okay, so 4 like uses you think of grease. Excellent. Within that.
Thank you.
It's like a hair gel container, and you think you can get 4 uses out of that.
Thank you.
Cool. Peace. See you in a second.
See you in a sec.
Hello. Mike, do you got a break coming up in a few weeks? Do you guys have off in February?
We have like 4 weeks, maybe 5, before we have a day off.
Ooh.
We had 8 5-day weeks in a row, which was really destructive to my mental health, knowing that there wasn't like a single conference day or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally nothing. It's brutal.
Yeah, that's tough.
We got really close to having a cold day, and we were so pissed he couldn't just give it to us since we had 8 weeks of misery.
We've had a snow day and a delayed start recently, which has been fun.
I'm so jelly. I want a snow day so bad.
In 2 weeks, we have February break, which I'm super excited about.
That's gorgeous. I'm looking at the calendar right now. We got like 5 COVID days and 2 mental health days. The COVID days, like you have to show that you're taking a test though or something. So I need to figure out how to use that, but they expire in June. So I'm definitely going to try to use all of them. For my birthday, I took a day off, but that's the only thing I've done so far. When we have our Sunday off, we might rent a cabin and go somewhere. So that Friday or Monday, I might try to take something off. Sunday off of D&D on the 27th.
Yeah.
Okay, those pieces you were buying, are they they're not like something you could have used a focus for? Interesting.
Yep. Also, sorry, I'm just shoving my face.
Your time. March 11th, March 18th, we have a student and staff wellness day. And March 10th, we have teacher conferences. And March 8th, there's ACT testing, so. March 8th is the first day we get a break.
It was like 50 here yesterday, and we went for like a real long walk. It was nice. It like felt like spring.
Is there snow gone?
No, it's still there. It melted a little bit. Now it's just ice. But just a reminder, spring's not too far away. Definitely excited for it.
I want a snow day before spring happens so bad.
I don't, because we keep tacking on days to June. It's like
for real?
Yeah, they didn't plan for any. They're all just extra days. So every time we have a snow day, it's like, yay, but see you guys in June, like. But I guess we're not going to do anything.
Year. Like, that sucks. Yeah.
I'm not going to teach those days. Like, it's the last, like, it's like the last 2 days of school. So, like, whatever. We'll probably just, like, I don't know, do nothing.
Sorry, I'll be ready here in a second.
All right.
Take your time.
So like we had some really cold days and needed to be like -25, and it was like -15, so we had to go. But the superintendent had messaged us saying like the days might get called, and then we'll let you know by 9 p.m. if it happens. And then they just like never said anything, so they keyed us all up for it to happen, and then it didn't happen. And so that day, out of spite, I just put on movies for my kids, because also a lot of them didn't come anyway. Like a lot of like half my classes were there because it was like too cold. So I was just like, we're watching movies and fuck the superintendent.
What also sucks is like that Friday was nice. The snowstorm we had off, and like Friday is a perfect day to have a snow day. But like the day before Thursday, like the kids knew that like there was like a big snowstorm coming, so they were awful on Thursday. Just like they turned into like wild animals.
Just like the day before a break is always hard.
Yeah, day before break, full moons. They turn into werewolves.
Mary always talks about how things just get nuts on full moons at the hospital, which makes zero sense to me, but it's like a thing.
Oh, it is a thing. There's statistically like more car crashes for some reason. And like crime goes up.
That's nuts. It's cool because people generally aren't following the moon cycle, so they logically don't know.
Yeah.
So they can't like fake it.
The car thing is interesting because to me that's like the most reasonable of them. Is like, oh, maybe car crashes are happening because people are going, oh, look at the moon, oh, boom. But it's like the crime and the hospitalizations and stuff that like you said, people aren't choosing to do that on full moons because it's like interesting. It's like statistically has nothing to do with intent. Very cool and weird.
So what was the best loot that was just purchased? I added Goggle of Nights to my inventory because I'm going to use them until Jerry wakes up. But now they're just still the owl picture that Jerry doesn't want. Dude, finding out about that canister, super exciting. I was always going to be sad when that went away because it's such a cool enchantment.
Yeah, I think it may like take some time for the canister to affect the bags with the magic, but yeah.
Outside of RP, can we just say that I go and hunt down some bags of tea?
Yeah, I'd say for like, if you want high quality tea, maybe like 25 gold would buy you like 1d8 plus 2 high quality bags of tea.
Okay. If I roll a 1, I'm going to scream. I'm so scared to roll this die. Roll a 4.
So 6 bags of really fine tea.
Minus 25 gold.
Like, I'm sure you can get chamomiles and lavender blends and all sorts of teas for way cheaper, but those are like really good teas that you just bought.
I don't want to waste the time. I'll like make sure they look different so I know which are the 3 magical ones, and then I'll shove the other 6 in there.
Okay. Easy enough to do.
And then on the canister, I'll edit it and I'll say 6 mundane bags in the meantime. Toby, I'd give you some gold for your components, but I keep spending my gold on reagents and shit. Kind of. How much gold you have?
Damn.
Yuri has to have the most because he didn't spend anything except Chicago money.
Yeah. And now Jax has some, so.
Halperion thought that was so despicable, but he didn't want to like intervene.
Yeah, but I guess Talperion could have rolled insight as well.
It's really tough because like I've been wondering this. Like Halperion doesn't trust Jax, but I can see your deception is really high when you're rolling. So it's just like, when is he gonna like his natural suspicion versus like when are you convincing enough? You know what I mean? Like I don't want to RP. I don't want to like metagame it and say that he did.
I feel like it would be like, okay, that maybe that's true, but like you've got like a bad feeling about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Like he's definitely, yeah. That's true.
like you like, okay, that could be, he could be telling the truth, but like either way, it seems suspicious and sketchy. Yeah.
Critter, how do I spell the name of that mushroom?
I got you.
Thank you.
Pronounced say a kiss. And yeah, you know that to be a higher quality than basic thing that could be brewed into some version of invisibility.
I really wanted to ask about the 2 reptile eyes, but after what Mirage said, I was like, nope, not here.
Yep. Definitely, I think appropriate that you didn't ask him about those. It is amusing to me because you guys still don't know what those are. I mean, you kind of know what they are, but not what they're capable of. Let's say that.
We made 650 off the potion. Or off the mark statues.
Yeah.
And how much does that equal out per person? I can do that. Okay. I think I'm all caught up on my maths.
I'm almost all caught up on my eating. Sorry to delay things, everyone.
Honestly, there's enough like mundane stuff for us to be trying to get settled in the meantime.
I can't believe we did that like more than 6 hour long session that one time. I'm just retroactively thinking about, holy shit, I prepped so much for that. Like on my notes, I usually have like a rough body of paragraph length of like, I know this rough amount of prep can last 4 hours. And I just remember that section being so long that one day.
Someday we'll have to all get together in the same plot space and like play an all day session.
I would fucking love that.
Same.
All right, I'm about ready. So you are all standing just outside Mirage's tent space when the tawny brown, kind of graying feathered plumage of this peregrine falcon, speaking with Korik's voice, the hawk-like Aarakocra you guys had previously met in Force Hollow very briefly, has just perched on Sora's shoulder and greeted you all. How fared your travels through the Emerald?
Not answering.
He just also kind of turns his head to Sora, and Sora kind of... My Yudenil companions were more competent than I expected, and frankly, our travel required them to go above and beyond to rescue this one, as she found herself abducted by some strange hags, undead creatures. We will have to regale you with the tale, but suffice to say, I am in these Yudenil's debt. They have been very amenable traveling companions. It's good to hear. How fare each of you?
I think we're holding up pretty well.
You
Decent.
You look different than the fourth companion of these others. Are you the same person?
No, that person is gone now, and I am taking that person's place forever.
Interesting. Is this all something the rest of you are comfortable with?
Still a
do
member
not-
of our
Yes.
Okay,
Still a
I do
member of
not
our
mean
group
to
for the time being.
abandon the other one.
I'm here. I'll help you guys out. I'll be good.
Very well.
He kind of leaps off Sora's shoulder and kind of flaps his wings to hover in front of Toby Rama's space.
And you, young one, you still carry the medallion, yes?
And his voice noticeably drops in volume.
Very well.
Get back to a section of my notes real quick.
Well, as I mentioned, speaking with various acquaintances in town, finally heard rumor that you may all have arrived, and I'm glad to see you are here in one piece. Successful in your journey. Does my heart good to see you all safe and sound. I would not rob you the chance to take in the lively environment this settlement has to offer, especially with what I assume may be your first time in our lands. So please do not rush on my account. But I have identified a tree of sufficient size just west of Kirsan that should serve us well for travel. When you all are ready, we can make our way there, and I will prepare our transportation to Korital.
Korik, how long is it going to take to get to Korital? I haven't been to Chimeras before, so I'm not sure kind of the distance across this country.
Korital is some 300 to 400 miles east of here. It is a substantial distance. It will not take us as long. We find that tree and you will find our journey most immediate.
You got more Aarakocra friends to carry us there or something?
More of primordial natural magic at my disposal. Teleportation through the roots of this deep world we find ourselves in. So to speak.
Can this tree take us anywhere else besides Korital?
I can only use the magic I have at my disposal to open a gateway between this tree and a tree I have seen in person myself before. So, primarily, different targets throughout Chimeras are our best bet, or in that of the Emerin, certainly. But there's a tree just outside Korital where I shall make a connection, a bridge, if you will, between those 2 points. You will traverse hundreds of miles in but seconds.
A nifty trick.
Frankly, though, this desert environment does not have many trees nearby, shy of the Emerin, a day's travel north. But I have identified a dying tree, but still living, of sufficient size, 20 miles west of here, so. So it may take us deep into dusk, but actually it's not 20 miles, he'll say like 10 miles. But it may take us deep into the evening, but we should be able to reach that before nightfall, I imagine.
I mean, I think, not sure, we got most of our business done here, unless there's some other major city attraction you look at that you'd recommend us to stop at. I think we might be good to head out and get to Korital as quick as possible.
Very well, yes. This one has no suggestions for entertainment here. I'm sure you've found what you can. Frankly, the populace here always strikes me as odd and predatory, if I'm honest. But I am eager and available to make our way westward for a moment. Sora, might I discuss briefly with you off to the side for a few moments.
While they go and talk, while they step away, I want to run back into Mirage. Mirage, pretty basic question. I'm sure you know the answer to this. Let's say we do stumble upon one of these Tears of Madeira. How do we get in touch with you?
Let me do this. Just for visual reference. That is a good question, my friend, and this one will want to make sure you have the opportunity to do so. I cannot necessarily afford to do this for everyone I consider trusting to deputize to this mission, but with the nature of you being Eudanil and perhaps only being on our lands for a short time or otherwise, you stand a better chance than I at venturing northward into the various nations of Eudanil. Hold on to this. One moment. We'll go off to the side and plop into your hand, Roulette, a small turquoise, very smooth, like river stone that has runes carved into it. I have the other. This is a sending stone that will make you available to contact me only once a day.
I'll make sure not to mix it up with this one, and I'll take out the other half of the other sending stones.
Oh, interesting. Others have contacted you for similar.
Dissimilar and haven't really. Long story, and we can talk over ale at some point in the future. But this is good to have, and I promise we'll return it in the future. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, Telperion, you can totally have bought a longbow. Let me pull it up real quick because I think those are actually a little expensive.
We can talk later. I don't want to.
Well, we can just we'll just reduce the price because you could have bought it from Trusty Trezeldor. Longbow is 50 gold.
I'm gonna not buy that right now.
Okay. Got it. Well, you are all able to, let's shift up the song here. As you all are kind of concluding, packing up, if there's any packing up to do, just kind of outfitting yourselves to get ready for travel. Is there anything you guys are hoping to do? Sora and Korik are kind of off to the side, just discussing things. Korik's still in bird form and yet able to speak functionally.
As we walk to the tree, I want to talk to Korik at some point, but nothing before that.
Okay. Toby Rama specifically, as they're off to the side, it's hard to read the lips of a talking bird, but you do see various glimpses of Sora talking you guys up, showing her gratitude for how competently you leapt to her aid, and is very clearly emphasizing to Korik your value, both in a tactical competency sense, but also in a rather good-willing sense. So you just catch glimpses of their conversation from Sora, a far distance from kind of the vibe you all had with her when you initially met and started your travel together. But you guys are all able to set out for heading out of Kirsan and heading westward into the mid to late afternoon. Korik will suggest there's a couple hours necessary to get to that tree of walking pace. But you guys can start that journey. Is there anything any of you are hoping to do at the start or otherwise?
Certainly. Wood, metal, stone? How big? Does it matter? Pocket size? Perfect. You got it. Yeah, next, I should be able to make something like that. Pretty easy. I want to grab Korik's ear at some point because is Korik like just flying or like on Sora's shoulder?
He is totally zazooing it. He's just like, as you guys are traveling, he's just like flying in and around you guys, hovering in his falcon form.
Korik, can I?
Yes.
I want to bother you for a second, if you wouldn't mind. I want to show you something and ask if you know anything. You mentioned primordial and magic and trees. Does this ring any bells? I want to show the druidic writing that I saw from my other family, the lizard folk, in the forest. And I want to ask if he knows anything about what it was, what it did.
Remind me, were you taking notes, sketches of the general runes, or had you taken very thorough notes about the specific pattern of language that was carved into the trees?
So, because I think I saw it in two places. I think I saw it once through Moby 3's eyes, and then once in person on a separate tree. And I don't remember if I took any like rubbings of it, but I know I had at least like what the patterns were.
Okay. Yes, he will speak up and say,
yes. This is very clearly druidic, runic symbology, and some phrases in there as well. It seems to be what you have sketched here seems to be something of communication language and phrases. Various symbols mean relatively little on their own. Each may have connotations that accompany it. Though this specific string of symbols implies some coercion to communicate. Which is kind of, you identify, the part he's identifying here is aligns with what the lizard folk had inscribed into some of the trees. And so what you're getting the sense of is that what they were inscribing is imbuing those trees with a coercion to try and communicate with other trees. Something along those lines.
Gotcha. Yeah, that forest holds a whole lot of mysteries. Thank you, Corey.
If you don't mind, where did you come across these runes?
We found as we were traveling south from Croatia down through the Ameren towards here, came across a couple of lizard folk inscribing this in some trees, and it was something magical about the trees hiding the environment, and couldn't really tell what was going on. I mostly wanted to make sure we didn't walk through some sort of cursed trap or something.
No, there are various lizard folk, although perhaps the most densely populated congregation of lizard folk typically surround Norazel, our naval city to the far south. Various lizard folk do take residence within the Ameren proper and tend to the wildlife there as druidic helpers, shall we say. So they were very likely trying to accomplish something of beneficial value to those trees.
Where did they congregate usually?
Norazel, it is the very far southern tip of both our nation and all of Aeridon at large. That is where the Sultan of Jazura reigns. And and commands our naval forces should they ever be of use. But we travel elsewhere, far to the east. Although that is in the opposite direction of where we are traveling at this moment to get to that tree. Speaking of which, that should be no more than an hour away at this point after you guys have traveled for a few hours. May I ask of you all, what did your friend Gallus, what did he mean to you all on not even just an individual basis, but what was the nature of some of your connections with him? He has found favor with our king, and I mean to understand better why you four seem to be in his care on that hill that night.
Toby?
He was first and foremost a friend to us. And I think the reason your king is taken with Gallus is because of how welcoming he was. Didn't care where I came from. I came from Belladonia. Belladonia is a notoriously shit nation, but Gallus welcomed me in. And saw that I had ambition and said, "Hey, post up shop here." And welcomed me in and said, "Do your work and we'll take care of you." He was open-minded, and I think he liked to see the good in people.
Hospitable and welcoming indeed, I have heard. Though I believe
Fiercely protective to the end, I will say.
An astute word my king has emphasized, in addition to his warmth, what has also impressed him in previous interaction was his fierceness. Relentless in his protection of those around him. I believe it is a kinship my king sees or saw in him. But very well, it should just be above cresting this dune here. And you guys all continue up this small dune, and as soon as you do, you look down into like some sort of gradual decline into more desert terrain territory. And you see the tree in question for Korik that Korik had mentioned. It seems to be clearly dying. Life is not flourishing on this tree at the edge of the desert. Though Korik immediately says, "Wait, hold a moment, all of you. This is strange. When I scouted this location some 2 days ago, it appears since that time something else has taken this land." And as you find yourself all approaching this tree, now 80, 90, 100 feet away or so, the upturned earth, there are creatures known as bullets or land sharks. This is very evident of their terrain. They have very clearly made their home amidst this area of desert, and so close to Kirsan does not bode well for that populace. This concerns me greatly. We need to make it to that tree, though bullets have the nasty habit of sensing vibrations and tremors in the ground, and if our footsteps are not careful, they may spring up and assault us. we need to make our way to that tree before they do.
So a dash then?
I think that would be rather appropriate.
And so you guys can feel free to dash this or otherwise. This terrain here is all difficult terrain running in the sand. So all of your movement is halved functionally in this strange footing of running through sand. But you guys can all functionally take a turn here and we can all see what happens.
Thank you. Can you put that in the chat? Thank you. I'm gonna move forward 30.
What did I cast? Oh, I cast it.
But so I can get. Oh, I can only. Oh yeah.
Yeah, normal movement, you could only get 15 feet. If you choose to dash, which is very reasonable and fine, you can make a full 30 feet.
Before, Toby, would you like some distance? Okay. Before we get any, before you move 15, I'm gonna levitate. I'm gonna hold out my arm to you and lift you up, and I'm gonna move you 30 feet towards the tree.
Okay, so telekinetic movement as your action to lift Telperion and help usher him 30 feet forward. Perfect.
And I don't dash, I move 15 only.
Okay.
And you have 15 left. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Roulette's going to use her action to dash. Bonus action to tell Alfie to dash.
Yeah, Alfie dashing even 40 feet just looks awkward. He's trying to roll very quickly, or maybe he tries to roll and goes nowhere at first, and then his legs come out to make sure he can get going.
He like sticks his legs out to get like some
yeah.
on it.
Yep.
What's Josh?
Sora will also is going to move 15 feet forward and take the dodge action, just trying to avoid any strange things that may occur.
I do have my sword out in one hand.
Good to know.
And my sliver
Rourke in bird form is just flying unimpeded by the desert terrain. Jack's dashing as well.
Yeah, Jax will dash up besides Roulette, passing
Perfect.
Telperion and Sora.
Okay. As you guys all take this first turn.
Do I get an
what's up?
attack on Jax?
You absolutely do.
Try it.
But as you all start to move, especially not necessarily intending to stealth through this thing, but maybe that wouldn't even be valuable in its own right. As soon as Telperion, you step where you do, while you're mid-lifting Telperion through the air, or Toby, yes, sorry, through the air, you see at your side an eruption of earth as a bolette, this land shark with this like very narrow bone-like carapace on its front, and I'll go ahead and make the image larger and available to see, bursts out of the earth and is going to attempt to make a bite at you.
Oh God. Monsters have done it before you.
And I need to go to this thing.
My AC is 19.
Got it. And having been unseen for his first turn, does get advantage on this. 25.
Yep.
He says proudly.
It rolled in D&D. Oh, here we go. Here it is. For a low roll of 17 piercing damage, as its large maul just like dents part of your armor, getting into your torso, and just very heavy impact.
Would we have had time over the course of this entire day where we would have short rested and I would have gained back the 2 damage I took from my Mind Sliver psychic damage?
I would say yes, loosely, like over the course of your time in Kirsan, you were doing light activity for long enough. That's fair.
Cool.
So I would like, at the appearance of that bullet, I would like everyone to roll initiative, please.
Balls.
Oh no.
All right. That is what we will do for now. Okay. We got roulette. We got that one, which is going there. We got Telperion. We got Sora. We got Toby Rama. Toby Rama Dex modifier is going to probably be less than his. Okay, perfect. So I think we're all good. So yeah, Roulette, it is your turn functionally here, as you see and hear that thing leap out of the ground and attack Telperion behind you.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
Take your time, no worries.
Joke's on you, I hate this armor.
Sure. I am going to. Oh no! Am I? Yeah. I'm gonna run 15 feet over here. I think it's one more because I was here 5, 10, 15. I'm gonna take out my my small little whetstone thing. And I'm just gonna rub it on one of the rocks, flip the side, rub it on one of the rocks, and a rock in that spot is just gonna continuously emit a sound of thunder, just like thunderous sound in that spot.
Okay. Functionally, is this functionally your artificer tool capability, or is this functionally like thaumaturgy or something?
This is one of my magical tinkering things. One of the 4 things I can do. I make something emit repeatedly a non-verbal sound.
Got it.
My intent upon hearing Korik's words of vibrations in the sound is to try and just make something stationary in this spot that is meant to be a distraction. And my bonus action, yeah, sure, why not? Because I have one of them. Alfie, go shock that thing. And he's gonna move 5, 10, 15, and I'm just gonna have him do 1 burst of the wand.
Okay. Yeah, he can go ahead and do that. Go ahead and roll damage.
Alfie's reign of terror begins.
Damn. Motherfucker. You see these missiles like almost
go for the eyes.
They almost go for the carapace of this thing's very bony like top head, and then immediately just swivel out and go like under it, finding creases and stuff in the eyes and otherwise to detonate from within, dealing 15 force damage to that bullet.
And I'm just gonna pick up another rock, just to ready myself to do what I just did again next turn.
Will you click for me where that rock is?
Literally on my spot, because I couldn't throw it or anything, so I just picked a rock on the ground and did it there.
Got it. Perfect. That's your turn?
That's my turn.
All right. Korik is going to go. Korik, still in hawk form, is flying up and around, and at seeing this thing launch through the air or up out of the ground, he is going to lift about 20 feet up into the air, and he is going to flap his wings very quickly, and you see runes start to glow on both of his wings. And as he does a big gust-like clap of wind, searing light jets out from both of his the runes on his wings as he casts Guiding Bolt at it.
hot.
It's so hot. Is he not in the little hawk form anymore?
No, he is.
He is still in the hawk form. I just have his token there. Why did that not roll? I would like it to roll. Damn it. Okay,
Oh,
I'll
just
just
roll specifically.
I thought that would automatically do it, but whatever. We'll just roll
Oh,
like that.
I'm gonna have Alfie take 5 feet back towards me.
His guiding bolt actually misses as you see the searing bolt of like starlight erupt from his wings. It just like curves toward the thing and then just glances off its like very bony frontal forehead. And otherwise, we'll call out
Careful, young one. Keep your wits about you.
and he will he can't do that because he just did that. Yeah, he just calls out that, but he has used his action in a poor action economy way.
Are you calling me young?
He did seem to call you young. But Toby Rama, it is your turn. You also seem to be like kind of in a spot. There we go. Okay. Very cool. So first of all, is that a roll to hit at first? Got it.
MK, you took damage. I didn't remember that.
Natural one. Telperion, make a dex save for me.
13.
What's your DC, Toby Rob? Oh, well, it's 13 to hit. So wait, yeah, I would say this does blast you in the chest, Telperion. As the thing just like retreats from it having gashed you in the side, you find this streak of sickly gray energy hit your form, and you feel weak all of a sudden, but you immediately see that your target hit someone unintended, dealing no damage to you, but you felt this sapping of your strength happen momentarily, but you are once again imbued with strength as Toby Ram ends the effect.
I have a question. So I took 17 damage. How much is that if it's halves, 8 or 9? So, okay.
Good point.
17 healed.
Yep. Make sure to you also, Toby, that you got that 8. Okay. At initiative count 20.
Oh, technically I rolled a 14 because of +1 from guarding word.
Okay.
Where you
Understood. But why is it not letting me click? That's very strange and odd.
Wrong layer?
No, I'm on the right layer. Unless I did.
The token's on the wrong layer.
It's literally not. Oh, because I'm not on the selection tool. That was stupid of me. At initiative count 20. You all see 3 large winged shadows start to hover over the ground beneath you. Just kind of loosely circling in various directions. And that's it. Jax, your turn.
Jack says, we could leave Telberian behind. Maybe we should make a run for it. But he will take both of his hands and kind of like this bluish, neon blue and like kind of pale purple flame starts coming out of each of his palms, and he pushes them forwards, and like these balls of like eldritch flame fly out of each of his palms towards the land shark.
Awesome. Go ahead and roll for each attack.
One. Wait, did it roll?
It did.
There's one, and here's the second beam.
21 definitely hits, as does 25. For 15 total force damage.
Yeah, 15 force damage.
Got it. So you blast him with flame that just kind of detonates when it gets to his space, dealing force damage. 15. Got it.
Punch.
Very cool. Anything else
And
for?
then I'll kind of just like hide out in these rocks right here and look to see if anybody is also interested in fleeing from this land shark.
Got it. So yeah, just to give a little bit of extra sensory descriptors there, that upturned earth that you're near, those are like jutting out at like a 30-degree angle, and they seem to be like stone from beneath the environment. So you can definitely, by like crouching behind them, definitely get a little bit of cover for sure.
More to like prevent, you know, like if another land shark came out of the, it seems like a safe place from that.
For sure.
Go with that.
And that's it.
All right. Cool. It is Sora's turn. She will immediately, having already been kind of prepared for anything that could leap out, she will enter her rage and then immediately rush to Telperian's aid to try and scratch at that one with her natural claws. She will roll reckless. $22 hits. For 10. Second hit. 18 hits. For another 10. So with her enlarged claws, with like this like yellowish amber colored energy just drifting off them, she just tears into this thing. Her claws even sinking into the bony like carapace of this thing's front lobe as she deals 20 slashing damage to it.
Strike true and hard, friend. We must take this down quickly.
And that will end her turn. Roulette.
Hi.
After using your stone to cause a thunderous energy to kind of ripple in your space, definitely causing vibrations where you're standing, in addition to your own footsteps, you have the frustrating and terrifying sensation of the rock and sand shifting underneath you as another detonation of land as soon as I reshift the drawing order of those.
I'm dead.
This thing erupts in your space and could knock you back potentially as it attacks first.
Oh.
Except I need to reload that. All right. Again, having been unseen in its first strike, gets advantage. 25 to hit.
That will hit.
For 35 damage.
I am currently up, yeah.
So this thing just
I will
gnashes
help
its
Lily.
teeth into you.
I'm gonna help. Oh, I'm too far. Fuck. Sorry.
Yeah, being a little too far, even hearing the detonation of the sand and earth erupting in over near Roulette. Roulette takes that damage, and go ahead and make a strength saving throw, Roulette.
$13.
13's good enough. You are not knocked backward and prone. You are, however, knocked out of its space. But harmlessly, not harmlessly because you just suffered a lot of damage, but no additional harm being done from that specifically. As soon as that happens, he burrows back down, using a bunch of movement to burrow back into the hole and otherwise disguising himself. For the other bullet's turn,
Christopher?
yes.
So I was knocked out of its reach, right?
You were knocked out of its literal space. You are still within striking distance. You can take an opportunity attack should you wish to.
I'm gonna smack it on the butt as it goes down.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, you notice its tail is not nearly as well armored as its front head, and you strike true for sure.
Go for the meaty part.
12 bludgeoning damage. Got it. Then the other. It retreats 5 feet, at which Sora will absolutely take an opportunity attack.
Will I too?
And Telperion is free to. I'm not going to tell you that you just do that, but
Mikey J will. 17 to hit. Oh, 17 plus 7. 23.
you absolutely hit. Roll damage.
I'm two-handing now. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm one-handing.
Yeah, you're right. You're actually right. So so it'll still do the same damage. But yes, she does an additional 12 damage to it. And Telperion, what are you doing to it? Just slashing with the longsword?
Slashing with the longsword. Longsword does 12 damage, and then an additional 3 psychic damage.
So you see your magical blade, very satisfying, carve into the bony like protrusion on this thing's face, which you know a plain weapon might not have so easily carved into it. And then you see it like wince in pain and like shudder for a moment as you have clearly affected its mind with some kind of psychic damage as well.
I will heal 3 on that.
Okay.
And then I think I may as well use my first one of the day, and I will
Psionic strike.
It too.
Can you do that as a reaction, or is that only on your
Actually,
turn?
you're right. I think I can only do it on my own turn. Thank you.
Okay. So it backs up in that space, and then you see it crouch. This thing leaps up with surprising agility for its behemoth-like muscular legs, 20 feet into the air, and drops down directly on you and Sora.
God.
As it does a deadly leap. So it leaps. Each of those creatures need to succeed on a strength or dex save of your choice.
All right, so this is +8 to this roll.
And Sora gets advantage per
Rolled
raging.
a 5. 13.
13 fails, 21 Sora's succeeds. So from the damage from this thing, I'm going to roll both of these. Telperion, you take 18 bludgeoning damage and 17 slashing damage as this thing lands on top of you, knocking you to the ground. You are considered prone and pushed 5 feet out of its space.
So I take 9 bludgeoning.
Yes. Sora is harmlessly pushed out of the space, but still takes half of that total damage. So not 35, but 7.
Thanks, Toby. And I'm pushed 5 feet back.
Yes.
You can drop it. You've kept me alive.
Sora goes down from that to that.
Yeah, this literally
Sora
has kept me up.
Sora definitely took some serious damage there, but both of you did, resisting it in different ways, but still a very brutal impact of this thing. And it will use the remaining 10 feet of its movement to burrow.
God damn it.
Did it look
Telperion,
injured at all?
It's your turn. This
from
one,
any
the
of those
one that just
attacks?
leaped, the one that just leaped up at Telperion and Sora, looks like it has taken a lot of damage. Like you guys have already carved very seriously into this thing's form. Like parts of its like carapace bone structure on its face have already like chipped off and fallen off, and you're seeing the guts underneath bleeding. So it has taken serious damage.
Okay, so I'm gonna move 5 feet forward.
Okay.
And can I look in the hole now, or do I have to do another 5?
You have to do another 5.
Okay, I'm looking in the hole. What do I see?
Let me send this to back just to aid us all. You can make a perception check.
Is it active?
Actually, it would be passive perception
Okay.
because you don't want to spend your thing. What is your passive perception?
13.
That's high enough to see. You can see it wiggling its little tail downward into the thing, so you could functionally follow it down this burrow. It's roughly a 6-foot diameter hole, so you could rush in after it.
I rush in, plunging my sword into its back.
Okay, so you run about 10 feet downward into this burrowed hole into the desert. So I'm going to functionally move you to my own little DM lair. because you are now no longer visible to your friends. But you are down there. You can absolutely go ahead and roll an attack.
Christopher, just a note, doing that removed him from the turn order, so just remember he's last.
I see him in the turn order. He disappeared from you guys. I think I think the Bullets did too. So that's good to know that my secret GM rolls are secret in the turn order, but that's a good point. I actually don't really even need to really make him.
Good.
That's frustrating. Hang on one second. I'm going to put this to the map layer so that, I see what's going on. Okay, hang on one moment.
I'll roll my
damage.
damage.
Difficulties. There we go. Map layer, object layer, GM layer. Telperion, I'm going to make you visible even though you're not visible to your friends, just so you can see you in the turn order. We're back to business.
Critter,
you roll super high. Yeah.
Can you give it 2 health back, please? Because I rolled a D10 last time, which was a 2-handed weapon, so my modifier would have been only +4.
Got it.
And this one I will do at.
And just a reminder, you rolled above 20 to hit.
This time for my first attack just now, I rolled 23 total.
Got it. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and roll damage.
8 plus 6 plus it's plus 6 because I'm doing this one one-handed. So 8, so 9, 14 slashing, magic slashing, and then 2 psychic.
Okay. Got it.
And I will do 4
It's looking really rough. It squealed pretty loudly on that strike.
I'm gonna do force damage on this one just because I missed that.
You shoved a knife in its butt.
3, 4, 5 force damage as well on that hit.
Got it.
And then next attack.
Okay.
I rolled a 7. 14 to hit.
As soon as you are about to strike, you heard it so bad from that first one that it actually whips around, and your second strike just numbly hits off the carapace of this thing's forehead.
Well, I'm not going to stand on its face. Action surge to do another 2 rounds of attacks.
Shit. Okay.
Because I would probably die if I didn't. Action surge, first hit. 20 to hit.
20 does hit.
Okay. 8 slashing and 1 psychic.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna roll again.
I'm willing to tell you how much health it has, but
I'm not gonna hit again. 11 to hit.
Yeah, it does not hit. So again, you strike into one of the gaps, and as you pull out and strike, it kind of resituates and once again glance off its very hardened armor.
And you and I had talked about this. My psionic energy, I can only do 1 per turn. A long time ago.
It's written.
Yeah. Okay. So I can't do that again. Then I will use a bonus action to calm myself and heal.
Okay. It is clinging to life, but is very injured in front of you.
15. Oh wait, 5 plus my fighter level. 10 back to me.
Very cool.
And that's my turn.
All right, Roulette.
Roulette starts hobbling 1, 2, 3 this way. She's whispering to herself, "Stupid, goddamn, stupid idea, worked, but stupid."
It literally did. Yeah, just so you know, it literally did alter things, and it did work. But also, just put you in great risk.
As she's saying that, she's gonna pull Moby 3 off her belt. Stupid, just take that 30 feet that way. And Moby 3, which gets his own turn, I just don't ever use it. He's gonna pick up the stone and just move 30 feet north. So here.
Okay.
And drop the stone there.
Okay.
And then no, let me do this. Let's make it 20 feet so that he's like 10 feet off the ground.
Okay.
So
we'll put him here-ish.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
As I'm walking, I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds 2nd level and pull out a bigger healing patch that I've been working on. and cast Cure Wounds level 2 myself.
It's just bigger.
But it is literally just bigger. It's yeah. And then bonus action. I can't. He gets a reaction. I don't. No, that's it. I'm just gonna have Alfie start coming towards me as well.
Okay. It will be Korik's turn. I believe Korik can end that as a bonus action, I think. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if you can end Beast Shape as in...
Gorgeous. How much damage did you do?
Wow. Wow, max healing for 20 healing. That's nuts.
What?
Healing word.
Oh.
Korik is going to end his wild shape on himself, transforming in his space into a larger humanoid Aarakocra with the similar colored wings at his back and hovers even higher into the air. And with his staff, kind of twirls it around and holds it out in front of him, mutters an incantation, and several of the different beads glow. You see tattoos all over his wings ignite in a light, and he seems to be holding some spell for release at whenever a bullet appears.
Whoever next I strike, pay attention to the lingering starlight on its form. It will aid you.
But otherwise, it is Toby Rama's turn.
She needs, since I'm about to do some damage.
You will hold Toll the Dead. Okay, so you start to mutter the incantation, ready for release. Got it. Okay. At initiative count 20, these shadows overhead grow larger and larger until the large form of chimeran vultures are directly in front of you all.
They want a feast.
And as I wish I could do this quicker, but
Look at this.
and all three of them are going to make attacks. One of them at Roulette, one of them at Jax, and one of them at Sora.
Is the one that's near me within 5 feet of Alfie?
It is, yes.
That disadvantage on that one.
Got it. Okay, so let's do that one first. And it's going to...
I'm good. I'm gooder than I was. Yes, thank you.
All right, so first a beak attack at you, Roulette, for natural 1. And then a talon attack at you for 18 to hit.
It doesn't get disadvantage on the second one.
Oh, only the first
actually,
one. So regardless,
attack
it
roll.
would. Is it the next attack roll?
It is just like the attack roll.
Yeah, so that's individual attacks. So that is the first one then. So the second one, regardless of 24 or 18, I think would hit you.
Well, which one is it?
Oh,
What do you mean? The first one missed because of disadvantage from Alfie. So whether it, oh, I see. It's 24. It's 24 without the disadvantage.
Okay, that hits. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. For 12 slashing damage as this thing starts to tear into your form. Then we'll go Jax next for its multi-attack, a beak attack. 22 to hit, and a talon attack for 21 to hit. So both these are going to hit you. Beak coming at you for this damage, talons coming at you for this damage. So it looks like a total of 15 damage to Jax as that one swoops into attack, and then we'll do Sora next. And Sora was recklessing, so this gets advantage against her. The second one still misses, but the first one does a measly 4 damage to her, as her enraged form is taking less damage than otherwise would have. But now, Jax, it is your turn.
All right. This one, it's like, did they like just swoop down from the sky or like what?
They were circling in the first kind of round, and then they came down an additional 60 feet towards you all, just clawing at what they consider to be prey.
All right, got it.
So it is hovering in front of your space.
Yeah, and so Jax is, because he didn't have his sword out yet, he's gonna ball up his fists and actually no, he's gonna pull out his sword, and he pulls out a long kind of blade that's a little curved, and he's gonna attack it twice. A double swing at this thing.
Perfect.
This looking like a
Roll
scimitar?
it.
No, it looks more like a cutlass, but
Ooh, okay.
yeah.
But still Vanta Black, I believe, in coloration.
Yes.
Yep, so go ahead and roll. 14. The hawk tries to swoop out of your reach, but you do carve into its wing, successfully doing damage.
All right, he slashes a second time.
With the second one, it did just leave your space just too much, and you do unfortunately miss with the second. But the first one does deal 6 damage as intended.
And then I believe I can use my bonus action to punch it with my fist wraps now.
That is correct. With the fist wraps specifically, or the bracers?
Did you keep the bracers on?
No, my Eldritch fist wraps.
Okay, I literally just for some reason am forgetting what those do. Also, my damn proficiency with a club, what was it talking about? D&D Beyond is so weird for me sometimes. Here we go.
Well, I can use an offhand
I guess
attack,
I'm not
and then
seeing the. Did you add the item to your inventory? It doesn't look like it's in
I did
here.
it as an attack.
Okay, because you should add it to your inventory, this and the bracers, and hit attune to both of those, because none of that's showing up in your inventory. So just like out of session at some point, try and do that. But
I think what happened is I couldn't find the Eldritch fist wrap. The only thing that came up was Eldritch claw tattoo.
Yeah, that is not what it is. So we'll figure that out, I guess, after session. But very clearly, it has very specific functionality to it that I thought should be available for you guys to see. Hang on one second. Bonus action. Yeah, so you cannot attack with them as a bonus action. The bonus action empowers them to potentially do more effects. Like it can push things back automatically if you're willing to take some fire damage. It gives you no additional bonus action attack with them.
All right, yeah, we'll talk about it next later, and I'll just end my turn there then.
Okay, sorry about that, but it should be in D&D Beyond.
Did you keep Jerry's bracers?
Yes.
I think it was stated in session that he did keep those. But if you go into inventory, I just did it, and it looks like they're popping up as Eldritch fist wraps. So they should be available. But regardless, is there anything else you're interested in doing it with your bonus action?
No, I can't do anything else with it. That's the only thing.
Okay. Okay, so you do successfully damage it at least. But if that'll do it for Jax, then we will go on to Sora, who will immediately just start clawing at the hawk or vulture that just started attacking her. Recklessly as well. First strike will hit. Second strike will hit for that and that. For 21 damage to that vulture.
Good on you, Sora.
You see just a spray of plumage and feathers as she's just clawing into that thing and drops of blood on the ground, definitely injuring that thing significantly. At initiative 8. This bullet, which Roulette, make a deception check, but I want this to use intelligence at its base. So I don't think you're proficient with deception, so basically just make an intelligence check here.
Got it. Did that work?
Yeah.
Yes, it did work, and I do think that is high enough to successfully have identified kind of a trajectory and distance at which dropping a stone causing thunderous energy is convincing enough to distract that bullet. So, map, we will copy and paste that as another hole is made as this bullet jumps right out of it. Functionally, like right here, sees that there's nothing but a stone and is going to use the remainder of its movement to, seeing that Korik is out of reach, it's going to try and start running over in this direction, not fully able to get over to...
Christopher, I don't know if it impacts anything. Moby 3 was fluttering 10 feet off the ground in that spot where the stone was dropped.
10 feet off the ground. He sees a stone and like a flying sphere. I don't think he regards that as a threat of prey that he can eat.
Right. Okay.
So I do think he's going to ignore that. And now I'm going to move Korik slightly just for my own convenience. But the land shark is barreling over towards roughly Sora's direction, seeing that as the closest reasonable prey he can reach. But that uses his movement, and he has been functionally distracted that turn. Korik and Tobirama immediately release their spells, so I will do Wisdom save for the bullet. I think that's a success. Zero modifier, but it rolled pretty well. Now I'm going to give Korik his spell attack.
What's that for?
Toby's held the dead, which he held for that.
Korik struck true. And it's not letting me do it. Oh, it's because it's up there.
Good. I see him.
For 20 radiant damage as this like searing blast of starlight just detonates and erupts from his staff and streaks toward the creature. It just blasts him in the face with radiant starlight, and that bullet is definitely wounded from that, taking 20 damage. And that starlight seems to cling to his form, giving advantage to anyone trying to strike it next. It does shrug off, Tobirama, your toll. And that is its turn. Telperion, the one underneath, directly in front of you that you know to be dramatically injured, probably on death's door, is just going to take its best chance to try and take you out.
Okay, I'm ready to use my reaction to use a shield.
Yep, got it. It's just going to snap at you directly in front of it for 10. Does not hit, which just for fun, you avoided functionally.
Attack?
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, it only has low damage of 22, but just for fun, wanted to see what that was. It only has one attack though.
Would have been minus 10 because I rolled an 8.
Nice.
Would it have
like
been
for
minus?
fun?
Oh, you gotcha. Yes. So this thing's like maw just like clashes up directly in front of you, and you stumble backwards and avoid it. But it is in your space, leering at you. But it is your turn.
All right, going for it.
Swing it.
18 to hit the first one.
Absolutely hits.
Mm-hmm. 8 slashing damage and 2 psychic damage.
How do you want to kill this bullet?
Oh, I want my sword to go straight through like the roof of its mouth and poke up from between its eyes.
Perfect. You do so, and as you're both killing it in that way, you also hear just like the high-pitched squeal of this thing as it's shaking its head in mental torment as well, as the psychic damage kind of completes the kill of this stabbing through its skull. That one is... Yes, it did not need 100 hit points, but you functionally killed it with that strike for sure. I'm going to put that on the token layer and mark it as deadzo.
Beautiful. So getting out of the thing is going to cost me what? 10 movement?
Yeah, probably 10 movement, yeah.
And then I'll have what, five more on this difficult terrain?
The sand is more densely packed in the tunnel from where it's burrowing, so you're actually not losing movement in the tunnel. So you can get to this current space you're shown on using 10, and yeah, you have functionally 10 left.
So can I go here and swipe with that eagle too?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, so you climb up out of this hole. You see Sora locked in combat with this vulture, and you can go ahead and attack.
Everyone, I got it. 23 to hit.
Absolutely hits.
24 to hit. 4 psychic damage.
Okay.
9 slashing damage.
Okay.
And then I will also force damage this one.
Okay.
I did not do it the first time. 5 force damage.
Got it. You see this vulture like fall to the ground and then try and start beating its wings to lift itself back up. It is looking very, very rough.
And then I'm going to heal on that 4 psychic as well.
Okay. Got it.
That's my turn.
Roulette.
Oh no.
What does it look like when I heal from the psychic damage on the sword? Is there any like visible?
Probably no visible indication. Your brain just probably clarifies a little bit, and you just feel a little more like as if a long day of work just kind of whittled you down, and you just are suddenly renewed with energy. It's kind of more of a mental HP thing.
Sweet.
Bonus action. Ignore the die roll.
It. Yeah, just imbuing it with energy.
Lightning crackles through my flail, and I'm gonna take a swing at the big guy in front of me.
Perfect.
Extra attack is the best.
13.
Just misses the vulture.
As it misses, I just like contort my body and I twist it around and I bring it around for another super wide arc.
Changing the angular momentum trajectory of the thing midair. Love it. Yeah, swing again. 15 does hit.
15 does hit.
For 9 plus your arcane.
Yeah, there has to be an easier way to do this, but it's not.
For another 2, is that fire?
Lightning.
Lightning, got it.
So 11 bludgeoning, 2 lightning.
You definitely see it shudder for a moment as the lightning courses through its form very briefly and instantaneously.
Oh, I didn't use a box.
And I'm just gonna. This is stupid. I'm gonna have Moby 3 drop to 10 feet, pick up the rock, and then dash to get like 20 feet over the bullet where it currently is and drop the rock again.
Okay. Just onto its head?
Just onto its head.
Okay. Sounds good. That happens.
That's all.
Okay. Got it.
That's my turn.
Got it. I'm just going to move that there for fun then. Dropped it on its head. Korik is going to... This is the one he just struck with his starlight. But in an attempt to prevent it from escaping, Korik will spin his staff again and thrust it into the air. And as he does so, tendrils of like deadened tree roots and old shrubbery vines and stuff all erupt from the sand around the bullet and try and all grasp onto him. Words are hard. As he casts Entangle on this bullet. So I'm going to give it a save here. Even with strong, good strength, this bullet, the DC of this caster is possibly pretty high. And so as it tries to thrash and move, it is forced to the ground, locked in place as it's continually thrashing, but is considered restrained in that space as Entangle grabs it. So now kind of multiple sources of advantage on that one, but
Strike now while you can.
and Korik's turn completes. Toby Rama. Love it. Advantage for sure.
Yeah.
This bullet looks fairly healthy. Wow. 15 plus 17 for 32 radiant damage. How does this look when this bolt of enhanced silver light streaks out from your bow? 32, fuck. Yeah, so I feel like as soon as like you identified the spot and shot it, the starlight coalesced around your bolt and your silver light pierced its form deeply and like almost detonated with a flash from within and just drifting out of that wound, and all around the creature is just this silver mist. So granting advantage to whoever's trying to strike next. It is still entangled, so again, multiple sources of advantage, but 1, 2, 3. Yep. For sure. Yep, you are good. That's your turn. All right, initiative count 20 goes to the vultures. Let's do roulette first. Disadvantage on the first.
On the first.
All right, I gotta reload this page again, like always. Classic.
Use my bonus action.
To drop the pebble.
Nope. To cast arcane weapon.
Oh, sorry.
Bobby 3 has turn.
What's up? Did someone say something?
Nothing.
Okay, cool. Okay, roulette first. Multi-attack. Disadvantage on the first strike. Beak. 24 to hit. And regular on the second. 25 to hit. Those were really close to nat 20s. You take beak damage, then talon damage for another 16 piercing and slashing, as this thing is just trying to grab some version of prey. The one at Jax does not look particularly injured to this vulture, so it is going to try and grapple you. Go ahead and make a athletics or acrobatics check, your choice. That's pretty low. It's not particularly good at this, but it's good enough. It beats you, it grapples you, and it's going to use all 60 of its movement to fly 30 feet, slowed by carrying you. So now you are considered 30 feet and will move you up a little bit. It has currently got you in its grasp 30 feet up into the air as you're lifted all of a sudden. And then this other one is going to continue to attack Sora. They are not, just the way this map has gone, they have not been able to use their pack tactics to their advantage. Beak attack. Oh, but he does get advantage on this because Sora's been reckless. So same thing, and then advantage. Sora's armor class, he does hit on both of those.
I'm going to shield her on one.
Okay. Do you get to, you can see...
When a creature takes damage.
When a creature takes damage, so you can choose on this first one if you want to or not for the first one. 12 damage for that first beak attack as it tries to gash into her neck a bit. So you can choose right now if you want to use that or not.
Yeah, I'll use it now. It's the same thing. So whatever I roll plus 2. Ooh, 9. Just
9.
the highest I've ever been able to roll on that.
So that thing going for an artery in her neck, she knew she was at a disadvantage, but that pulse kind of reduces the amount that it's able to pierce skin. She looks confused, but is glad it didn't do that much damage. And then the Talon's attack does damage. So 68, 60, and it only is half because she's raging. Got it. Sora has taken some hits, but you're kind of impressed with how good she still looks. Like she's very durable. It is, and I think that's all 3 of the vultures. So Jax, it is your turn. You are now suspended 30 feet in the air.
All right. I'm gonna whisper to this thing using my charming voice. I'm gonna try to like enter its thoughts magically and make it instead attack one of its friends, one of its friend vultures.
Using what spell?
It is. What is it? Enemies abound.
Ooh, okay.
So it has to make a intelligence saving throw.
Got it. Let me just check something.
Are you concentrating on anything right now?
Got it. So it does not have to understand language either. You're just reaching into its mind. Intelligence saving throw. It is not good at intelligence. 10 is a failure. So what happens here? It immediately regards all creatures nearby as its enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And each time it takes damage, it can try and keep repeating the saving throw. And whenever it's choosing a creature as a target, it has to choose at random from creatures it can see within sight. Got it. Okay. So that definitely, you feel that mental connection take hold into this beast. Anything else?
And I'm gonna use my bonus action to place a curse on it.
Okay. Perfect. You are able to curse it.
That's it.
Awesome. That'll do it for Jax. Sora is going to make 2 more attacks at this wounded vulture. Reckless, because that's her bag. Miss and hit. For 11 damage. She carves that vulture apart. She rips into it with her claws and just like shreds its wings off with a cool kind of landing stance, jumping into the air for a moment, but doing that and landing. So that vulture is officially killed, and she yells to you, Telperion, "Focus on the land shark. I've got this one."
Get out of my way.
That will do it. She will reposition and get there, and that will be her turn. The 7 one is the one I can delete from initiative. This one, now seeing... That is very true. It has to try and get out of this thing.
How much damage does my little vibrating rock do?
It does 0 points of annoying damage to it.
That's a good type. Is it resistant to annoying or?
It is.
Vulnerable.
It is resistant to. It struggles. It uses its entire action to try and break out of this restrainment and is unable to do so. Very frustrated. Well, I'm also like, could it burrow out of this? But I don't think that's functionally. It just can't use its speed. It is restrained. For sure.
You're overestimating Corey, though.
It is absolutely restrained, unable to do anything bonus action or otherwise. It can't even hold an action. So it's very endangered right now. Telperion, it is your turn.
Why can't it?
Noticeably, this one is still healthier looking than the other one was able to be cut through very quickly. This one it's looking kind of wounded and maybe bloodied, but is not at death's door by any means.
Okay, my turn.
Yes.
I didn't use a bonus action last time, so for flavor, can we say I used my bonus action to ignite my sword when I was in the tunnel with the thing, like to just make it lit? Because as a bonus action, I could just so like when it went through its skull, it was illuminated and fucking cool.
sure.
All right. So from this distance, before I get close, I want to try to use my bonus action to try to hurl my sliver at this thing.
Okay. I think you have to make an attack before you can do. It's when you attack you can try and do that. So you cannot do the bonus action first.
Okay. I have advantage on most of these attacks.
It's restrained.
It is restrained and guiding bolted, so there's multiple sources of advantage here. But...
All right. Well, with that in mind, I will start rolling attacks. I'll do 2 swipes with my sword first and foremost. So advantage on the first one.
Advantage on both, yeah.
Nat 20 on the first hit.
Fuck.
Okay.
This thing was not looking bad, but you might do enough damage here.
Yeah, we're gonna see what we can do. Okay, so first of all, the sword swing, and I'll be doubling my d4s of psychic damage. And I'll just tell you right now, I'm gonna be putting on a psionic strike on this. So I'm rolling 3 d8s.
Should be 4 d8s.
4 d8s. Yep. 2 d4s.
So hang on. Sorry.
I can do it separate if you want.
You're holding it with 2 hands.
No, I'm still one-handed.
Oh, just one hand. Okay, so originally 2d8, and then another 2d8 for force, then another 2d4 for psychic.
Yep. And so we'll add a total of, and then my 6 modifier plus 2 for the psychic. So this number plus 8.
Got it.
Okay. All right. Will you remember the plus 8 for the end?
Sure.
Okay. So 10, 20, 28 plus 8.
36.
36.
It literally has 1 HP left, just so you know. You have carved deeply in. You just sheared with this slice. You sheared across multiple of the kind of deadened twigs and vines reaching out of the sand. You cleave through those and just sheared off. It's like plate-like head cover.
Oh,
all right, and then with my second attack at advantage. Well, can I say the slivers right now?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, and it's
It's not an advantage. Sure.
It is at it is both. Yeah, it's in melee with you. So even though you would have advantage, it's a neutral roll because you can't throw things.
Yeah, so just neutral. Okay.
So yeah, just straight roll.
24.
Definitely hits.
Okay, and I'll just drop a d6.
Christopher, I have a question on that. Not that it matters.
Yes, sir.
3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6 damage.
How do you kill this with your sliver?
I want the sliver to embed itself right in its eye.
Perfect.
Actually, it's open brain because I slid off its head, right?
Yeah, so it's just like a very soft tissue head space. So yeah, it's just like you clean that freaking armor off and you just plant the sliver directly in its forehead, and it just like gives off a squeal and falls to the ground.
Restrain makes it. Okay. Fuck yeah. I also. Yeah, that's all. Oh, I do get one more attack though, but yeah, I do get one more attack.
Yeah, you do.
Can I hurl a javelin at something?
It'll
be a disadvantage because everything's far away.
Yes, you can still draw and hurl a javelin.
I'll hurl a javelin at the one by roulette.
Okay.
So at disadvantage.
You don't have
1, 2. Yeah, you do not have any more movement available.
Okay. Cool.
But with a 120 long range, you can absolutely make the strike. Just
21 to hit.
Why'd you roll twice?
At disadvantage?
I rolled a 14 and a 19, and I'm plus 7.
Very nice. Very nice.
So this is a d6, and I drop my sword to do this, so this is a d6 plus 6.
Got it.
I rolled a 6. 12.
Got it. On that vulture near roulette.
Yeah.
Got it.
I hope you are. Did I use a bonus action? Yeah, I threw it. Cool, that's my turn.
Yep. The quick toss, yep. Roulette, your turn. The vulture in front of you is looking pretty rough.
24 to hit.
Definitely hits. 7 plus 5 lightning. That definitely clobbered it nicely, and you see the sprays of jolting electricity running through its feathers. It's looking really rough and is like flapping away from you, considering fleeing. It's looking really rough. Can't tell what that is. It's not
11.
showing up in. It's not showing up in chat yet. Is it? Is that a 3? It looks. Oh, here it just popped up in my thing. 11 does not strike it, as it just out of your way. I know, it's so weird.
I'm just gonna have bonus action Alfie try and stab it with a leg, which is
Forcing powered rend.
Spell attack modifier. I don't even know what my spell attack modifier is. +7, +8. Spell attack. Can I just roll that? No.
I healed on one of those D4, so I've used all 3 charges.
Got it. Ooh. Nat 20 for Alfie stabbing. He saw his mama miss, and he's like, I got you.
Did you miss on both?
2d8.
Just the second.
3.
This thing has 12 hit points left. How does Alfie kill
Alfie's
this
smart
vulture?
enough to know that.
Alfie's
Yeah,
first
Alfie
kill.
knows exactly, like computer AI analyzing in this trajectory of this thing, I can do that and do this amount of damage.
Alfie, the ball splits, so he launches himself up into the air and then just stabs into the chest.
Amazing. So cool. And you successfully, Alfie has killed that vulture.
And then Alfie and I are just gonna start. Whoops. Mom's gonna move 15, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it.
Got it.
I'm gonna have Moby 3 start coming back to me.
Moby 3 is coming back to you. Got it. I'm gonna
He's
start
got
moving.
60. He's got 60 feet if you fly.
Yeah,
So-
he's gonna get
Yeah.
back. He returns to your hand.
He's on.
Like,
He's on my
literally.
hand or my hip. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. It is Korik's turn. What can we do a little interesting with Korik?
Some hot bird v bird action.
You know what he's gonna do? You know what he's gonna do? Inspired by Roulette's arcane capabilities, he will hold his staff high, and you see a small storm cloud start to coalesce around his staff. And with a twirl and a spin, he launches it directly at the vulture carrying Jax and starts swooping over to a lower trajectory than Jax. So flings a lightning bolt. I'm going to give that vulture a dex save. So it does manage to take half damage.
Oh, because I did lightning damage to it. I was very confused.
So it only takes 15 lightning damage, and you see this surge of electricity course through its body, and it shudders. And Korik is going to use all of his available movement to fly in his Aarakocra form and hover underneath Jax, just in case anything would drop Jax out of the sky. But that'll do it for Korik. This last vulture is looking pretty dinged up and injured. Toby, your turn. Okay, roll the hit. $14 just hits. For 17 radiant. How do you kill this vulture? So Jax, as this thing is loosening its grip, dying, and you start to fall, is there anything you try and do immediately? You do know that Korik is under you, attempting to, frankly, catch you.
No, the only thing I can think of is wishing that I could fly, but he can't, so he's just gonna fall. Okay,
so as Korik is about to catch you, you, Toby Rama, since you're looking that direction, other people might not see this, but since you're looking at this direction, you see different tattoos on Korik glow, and you see like the very edges of his feathers start to like look like hooked and stuff, and for a very split second, his wings take on like the illusory form of like dragon wings for a second before becoming bird wings again and giving himself advantage on this saving throw to try and catch Jax. 10 will do it. So just not a very strong individual. He seemed to bolster his strength for a brief moment as he catches Jax, and Jax, he sets you to the ground beneath. And combat has come to a close. Holy shit.
Damn. Thank you,
Fucking awesome.
my bird friend.
Thanks for counting.
Yes, of course. I'm sorry for the delay. I would have warned you if these creatures had made territory here days ago, but it seems they must have ventured from somewhere deeper in the wastes. It is good, I think, that we did not simply rush to the tree. These beasts may have found their way to Kirsan and wreaked havoc there, so we have done that city a service.
Well, you're a good guy, and I'm not sure why Telperion doesn't like you, but we'll have to go check on the others.
Make an insight check when you say that. Without even trying to read his face, you're just on to other things before able to see what his facial cues did at all. But as soon as he kind of sees that you're safely on the ground,
please, how is everyone's health? Does anyone require aid? Yes, red-haired one, please come this way.
No, Roulette will have pulled out, like, as soon as the other thing has died, before she raises her hand.
Did you just do it again? Holy shit.
I got a few scratches, but I could use a little bit of help.
Yes, please, you two gather here. My dear, what is your name?
Are you talking to me?
Yes. You're Roulette, you said, yes?
Yes. We met.
Very well. And you, young one? Very well. Hold still a moment.
And he will use 2 uses of Cure Wounds on, or 1 use of Cure Wounds on each of you. Roulette first, and Toby second. To fully heal you, I assume, fully or very helpfully heal you both significantly.
Does anyone else require healing?
I could use a little bit.
Very well. Step forward.
And he will grant another 3rd level heal.
Ooh, thank you.
I'm sizing up the bullet, wondering if I could quickly pull anything useful off of its corpse.
The bullet?
Yeah.
Okay. Make a nature check.
Oh, can I just start plucking some feathers from the thing I killed?
Yes, for sure. You also give me a general sleight of hand check to see how delicately you're doing so.
That one.
Solid. You very quickly identify you sheared in half its protective armor, and that was kind of the most valuable part of this thing's biological makeup. And so unfortunately you destroyed what was the most valuable part of this beast.
9 sleight of hand.
And remembering the other one you killed, your sword also embedded it deep into it and probably structurally weakened the integrity of that hardened shell. 9 sleight of hand. Give me a D10 roll.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. Give me a 10. 8.
Yeah, so you do get 8 feathers that are like nice condition. The rest all were significantly damaged by your electricity kind of coursing through the feathers.
Thank you. They were
Chimeran vultures.
Chimeran vultures.
Yes.
Yes, very predatory and opportune creatures, those that can be seen flying throughout the entire nation. Rather hostile, especially when they see other combats ensuing where they may pick off individual prey. But you all handled yourselves very competently, and for that I am thankful. Well, shall we congregate at the tree?
Get my javelin back.
Thank you, Tobirama. This one appreciates it.
But otherwise, as you guys all start to kind of slowly approach the tree, Korik pulls out his staff, plants it firmly into the ground, kind of wiggles it a little bit to get deep in there. And as he chants a small druidic incantation, several beads in his dream catcher staff, which are just suspended by the lattice work of the string, they begin to light up in a specific pattern that forms the loose image of a tree. And suddenly you hear the creaking and shifting of bark as the tree before you warps and stretches, ripping up open from the middle at its core. And there seems to be like a warm red-orange light that matches the sunset in the atmosphere around you inside that opening. And Korik says,
Quickly, everyone in at once. I can only maintain this for a few moments.
And Sora is the first one to quickly dash, leaping into the tree. And maybe you're all startled or willing to just blindly follow. But as you guys one by one start filing into that light, you are immediately transported hundreds of miles eastward.
After you, Tobirama.
I push Jax
All right.
through.
All right, so kind of by both of you just ushering Jax forward, you all disappear into light, transported hundreds of miles eastward as your vision just goes red and orange with bright colors of sunset overtaking your vision.
That was westward.
Westward was where.
Yeah, you traveled like 20 miles west to get to this tree, and now you're getting teleported eastward to the very eastern, kind of the eastern mountains, which I will definitely get that map available soon, I promise. But as you guys are transported hundreds of miles eastward, Jiri,
Oh.
your vision continually tries to adapt to the darkness around you, and the steps you take in this wet place in infinite darkness start to get heavier and heavier, almost like the liquid is tar-like. And as you try and pull one of your feet free at one point when it's getting stuck, you can't seem to pull it free. Go ahead and give me a strength saving throw.
Jiri. 10.
10 is enough to pull your foot free from this thing, but with every footstep you take, it's like this liquid is trying to like attach to you, and you see little inky tendrils try and reach out and grab at your leg and up higher on your knee, and they get more and more aggressive. Is there anything specific you do?
I think I went the wrong direction. Maybe I should turn around. I don't like this goo.
So I'm gonna like try to like go the opposite direction.
Okay, so as you adjust your direction and try and trudge forward, the tar-like substance seems to be increasingly aggressive and strengthens its desire to latch onto you. Give me another strength saving throw. Within moments, as you're trying to push back in the other direction, worrying that you went the wrong way, this inky black sludge just latches up. You see a tendril latch up on your shoulder and another one on your elbow. And within moments, similarly to how Jax was, or that Bolette was just entangled by those dead vines and stuff, Jiri is now entangled and restrained with tendrils of sludge that are just continually pulling him down. And after a few moments, you fighting and trying to battle your way against this, you are drawn downward into the sludge-like form of this liquid that you were stepping on it as if it was an inch or so deep, and you were being entirely pulled down into it. And suddenly you feel it. It's hard vision-wise. It's difficult to see if anything's changing, but you feel the liquid cover your entire face and body, and you just feel like you are floating in some dark liquid. And there seems to be a small light out ahead, a very faint blue light. And you are just floating, suspended in this place.
I try to swim towards it. Well, initially, obviously, I'm like screaming as I'm getting like eaten by this thing, like ah! And then like once I get there and I see this light, I'm gonna try to like swim towards it, and like I'm thinking of Jawland as I swim towards it. This blue light.
It's very strange and jarring, the sensation, because although you felt for a moment like you were going to drown in this thing, you can breathe under this thing. It just feels like your arms and stuff are wading through like thick mud or quicksand or some thick liquid, but you are able to kind of swim, make your way toward that source of blue light. And as you see it, as it grows closer, you see in the space around you a bunch of black iron bars in the form of a figure laying on the ground, contained within the bars. And it seems to have blue skin and tousled white hair similar to your own. And he's just tossing a slight blue stone up and down in that cell.
Go up and I just make my presence known to see if this thing turns and looks towards me.
It does. As you make it yourself known, his head turns towards you. The face of Jiri looking back at you, but it's slightly different. There are elements to your own facial construction that are different from this individual, but it's very clearly reminiscent of your face. And he just regards you with a smile. Finally, someone to hang out with. Come on, pull up a seat, friend. We might as well make the best of this.
All right, I will. You look very handsome. I'll come sit with you.
Yeah, you as well, friend. You mind if I tell you a story? I'm a bit of a teller of tales and haven't had any company here in forever.
I love stories. Maybe I'll tell you my story.
Very well. A story for a story. What do you want to lead off with?
Oh, I'll tell you all about myself. My name's Jiri.
Interesting. My name's Aldark. Nice to meet you. That's funny you say Jiri. I was just gonna. One of my favorite tales is of a book I've read called A Monarch's Path. The titular character is named Jiri. I wonder if my brain is playing tricks on me or something, or if you're an apparition of my own making in my own mind. But I would love to just sit and talk with you through that story if you don't mind.
Oh, I'd love to hear it. See, I have that exact book. I didn't read the whole thing though. Unfortunately,
you're a fan
I got
of the
lost
Storm
in here.
Surge Chronicles. It's one of my favorite. It's my favorite series.
I suppose, I guess it could also be my favorite series. I haven't read a lot of books. I read a book about science that was kind of boring, so this is probably my favorite.
Oh yeah, quite an entertaining tale. Well, I guess I'll begin to describe the plot to the titular character. I must be going crazy. And as we kind of fade to black, you both, Jiris, or Aldark, whoever he said he was, begin to just slowly conversate and tell each other stories. And that is where we will end today's session. There is a separate Jax designation there, yeah.
You spell Aldark?